Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you're doing well on this Lawn Maintenance Tuesday. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online. ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything, but remember that if you do, we got you. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That will be done with limited commercial interruption upon the conclusion of the program. Thanks to our great podcast sponsor, CarltonDean.com. Email the show if you like. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. You can find me on Twitter. It's at JCameronShow. Utilize the WTSM app to find some of that archived audio and also to listen on both the iPhone and Android. So you're good to go there. And if you want to watch us perform the show, you can go to YouTube and type in ESPN Tallahassee, and you'll find us that way. We're live right now. So thanks for watching. You all right? You were about to say something?
No,
I thought you were about to interject on some of the lowdown there.
No, the lowdown is all accurate. That information is great. I'm going through the machinations of everything that's wrong with, Matt Harvey in his life.
It's bothering you. Well, I'm going to touch on that.
I want to help him.
I want to hurt him.
Maybe you can help by hurting him.
Yeah. Well, that'll be I actually was going to bring that up next hour. It's in my little outline. I wanted to touch on that because I actually think there's a sports question that is kind of interesting beyond just that's your favorite team having a problem. Like, I think it's interesting in that he is an immensely talented individual when he's got it all together. And what do teams do when you have a guy like this? I mean, we've seen problem children before, and teams typically what they do is put up with an awful lot of gruff and an awful lot of nonsense that you wouldn't put up from an average player. So guys get that leeway. We all know how that works. If you're a star, you can say and do things that others can't. And that's fine to an extent. At some point, though, you become such a distraction and such a problem, and a repeated problem. And this is not a one-off. That maybe you begin to think what was probably previously thought to be unthinkable, which is we got to cut this guy. We got to let this guy loose. We got to get him out of our clubhouse. Anyhow, we'll get to that in due time. Florida State's 31-18. That's okay. They're going to host Jacksonville tonight, who's 27-20. That's worse. 6 o'clock, Dick Howser Stadium, and the final non-conference game of the year for the Noles, and we'll see senior Will Ziersow getting the start. He'll take the hill for the Noles. It is his third career start. Thank you for your time here at Florida State as a senior. That's no doubt the nod, and Jacksonville is going to counter with Mike Casella, who's 0-2 with a 6.57. He of the 0-2 6.57 Casella family is having a tough go. Hopefully Florida State can add to the woes that he has felt on the bump so far this year. By the way, both of his losses this season have come against Florida State previous. So I don't know if he's anxious and eager for tonight's start or if he thinks, come on, fellas, I think I've shown beyond a shadow of a doubt I don't have what it takes to beat these guys.
And yet, Matt Millar's fears will prevail because it is Jacksonville who's rolling into town.
Yeah, Florida State won that baseball game the last time they faced Jacksonville, and it was a 3-run rally in the 7th to win 6-5. And it might be the last time Drew Carlton did anything to aid this team through no fault of his own, but rather poor coaching decisions. It was on that night, way back in February, that he earned his first career save in the game, pitching a perfect 8th and 9th inning, and he is never to be heard from again in any way that matters. Jacksonville, by the way, if you go back to a 9-7 win for Florida State, or a 10-9 win, I should say, Carlton did get a save there, so I kind of lied. There's been
point is taken, though.
Yeah, I'm being an ass for a reason.
Yes.
Because they've made a decision that just leaves me befuddled and frustrated. And anyhow, hopefully they'll win tonight. Be nice, get a win there, and move on, and then get into these conference games. I am eagerly anticipating the series, as I said yesterday, against Wake Forest. I think it's a big one. You got 2 series in a row that I love the way the season culminates now with games that matter, pressure-filled games against high-quality, top 15 RPI opponents, 1 series on the road, 1 series at home. It gets you set for the ACC tournament, which is also to some degree a pressure pack situation before going into regionals. Whether they're hosting them or not, irrelevant to the discussion about playing meaningful games against high-quality teams and seeing what you got before we get into the postseason when it's all on the line. I haven't completely given up hope on this team. I am not holding my breath that they're going to do anything that moves me or moves the needle to believe that they're going to accomplish anything special this year. But if they're going to do that, the chance it presents itself starting this Friday and on through the following weekend.
What's immensely frustrating, though, is the announcement yesterday, or the report, I should say, about Red Applin.
Just about to get to him. That's a most unfortunate set of circumstances. Red Applin has been very good for this baseball team and one of your better hitters now out of the lineup for a good long time, maybe the rest of the year. And that is, he's going to miss the rest of the season. I mean, I was holding out hope that somehow he would be able to play in like the best 2 out of 3 in the championship round of the College World Series. All he's done so far this year, if you're wondering, if you haven't been keeping up with this team, look, you bring in a junior college transfer. And one of the things about junior college transfers is that you don't really, it's almost a little bit like in football. You get your hopes up when you see some of the numbers. If you see the height and weight of a guy, right, you might say, well, that looks like a guy that can fill out and plug the middle there on defense, and maybe he can play. But you also are reserved in those expectations because a lot of times they're junior college players for a reason. And one of those reasons could involve that maybe they have the requisite height and weight. I'm talking about football. But maybe they don't have a lot of football skill. Maybe they're not the smartest guys in the world. Maybe who knows? Any number of things, right? Maybe they lack some athleticism. Red Applin came over, and you thought, oh well, I liked what he did at junior college level. Certainly impressive numbers. But he comes in this year for FSU and hits .322, 6 dongs. He's played in 46 of the 49 games this year. Has 40 starts. Has been rock solid. A perfect fielding percentage on 53 chances. Now, outfielders typically have a very high fielding percentage, or they ought to.
Never know with this squad the last few years.
But he's been exceptional, and now he's out of the lineup, and that certainly hurts. So I'm not happy about that, and hang in there, Rhett. I hate the bad news for you. Somebody might be yelling at the radio, what happened? Broken foot. Nothing you can do there. It's just a broken foot. So today's the anniversary. In the 5 o'clock hour, I'm going to play the clip of the late, great Lee Bowen, former play-by-play announcer for Florida State, for whom the actual broadcast booth over at Dick Howser Stadium is named. And my first real boss in radio, I think I'd say. Not trying to offend anybody, but first real kind of serious radio job. Gave me my start in radio, gave me a chance to do mornings. I will forever remember Lee Bowen very, very fondly. And today we get to hear his voice, and it's a happy occasion. It involves the time that he called Marshall McDougal's 6 home runs in one game on the road against Maryland on this date 18 years ago. A feat that had never been done before, has not been done since, and I doubt very seriously will ever be done again. Just think about it. If you pitched the ball underhand to anybody in the lineup currently without taking shots at anybody in the lineup currently, it's not meant to offend them. It's so hard to do that, just to hit 6 consecutive balls out of the park, even if they were being underhanded.
It's hard to do in the home run derby.
Yeah, it's silly, right? I mean, yeah, you have professionals in the home run derby who don't hit a home run. It's happened. So this guy hit 6 in one game, and I watched it. They were on the road against Maryland, Shipley Stadium, I believe it's called, and I watched that game while visiting my mom and stepdad down in Bradenton and sat there in awe. I can remember the color of the chair that I was sitting in when he hit his 6th and 5th, really, because – we've all seen a guy hit 2 home runs. We've all seen a guy hit 3 home runs in a game. Now, it's pretty rare you see 4. I can think of a couple of occasions where that's happened in the pros that I was watching and I remember thinking that's remarkable, but it is pretty rare. I've never seen 5, certainly, at any level. And then you get to 6 with him, and it is it's funny because that was a different time. It's a time in which you saw those highlights wherever you were living around the country on SportsCenter, and really that was the only place you could get him. And he was He was called by almost every major national outlet there was, every program, whether that be Jim Rome's show or whomever it was at the time. He was on every show. It was hilarious to watch, or he was on that show anyhow. And, it was I still in ML. When you look at that box score, it blows you away.
It's such a bizarre feat, too. I don't even know what you can compare it to across sports. And the only thing I could think of as you were talking about, where you were and who you were with, maybe Winston's opening night against Pitt. I mean, where he nearly throws a perfect game, and one of the incompletions was certainly actually a complete pass to
and
Kenny
the other
Shaw.
one was just a drop.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
I think it might have been a throwaway, but I mean, even still, I mean, is it that? I don't know what in sport, because it doesn't imply that, and this is no disrespect to Marshall McDougal, it doesn't imply that the person who accomplished the feat is one of the greats of all time in the sport. It's just an incredible feat, and I don't know.
He wasn't even anywhere close to the best hitter on the team. I mean, John Ford Griffin was an infinitely superior hitter than Marshall McDougal.
Yeah, he pinch hit in that game. He went 2 for 2. I saw the box.
No, John Ford, who we've had on the show before and I know well, was one of the best hitters in the history of college baseball.
Or I should say defensive replacement, but yeah, he went 2 for 2 in that game. Right, little did you know that at that point that guy would go on to be Golden Spikes and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, he was incredible.
But it's just I can't think of, I don't know, what would it be, like 9 consecutive birdies in golf. It's tough to equate it to something.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing you could do is try to find something that has never been done before in any sport and then cite that moment where that changed, right? So has anybody ever had back-to-back albatrosses in golf?
I don't know that the holes are set up to even allow for that.
Well, I mean, I guess you could have a hole in one on a par 3 and have a one on
that's an eagle. So you'd have to have a drivable par 4, and then, you'd have to make a 2 on a par 5.
Right.
So hole in one followed by a 2.
So certainly in the history of golf, and the courses have changed dramatically over the years, maybe that's been done. I don't know. But some absurd accomplishment like that is what you're trying to seek out. Because it's not like it couldn't happen. Nothing that could happen in boxing would work in this analogy. I mean, I don't know what could happen in basketball where I mean, I can't think of anything. I think it would have to be something completely absurd.
The weirdest thing I could find, because I pulled up back-to-back albatrosses, and Google provided this from Golf Digest last year. A golfer made an 8 on a par 3 at quintuple bogey and followed up with a 2 on a par 5.
That's pretty awesome.
That is pretty awesome.
But it's not the same
But it's not
thing.
the same thing.
Not the same.
That's just pretty cool.
It's just, yeah. Well, I don't know.
Reminds me of that presser back in the day where Jimbo was asked if he would ever put Greg Reed on offense. And Jimbo says, I think we like where he is. And the guy, answers back, be pretty cool, though.
You talking about, yes, and I remember that well. Yes, it'd be pretty cool, though.
The 6 home run thing, that's pretty cool, man.
It's more than pretty. It's just crazy. It doesn't make any sense. A couple of those, I think, are on 1-2 pitches. Just doesn't make any sense. That wasn't the biggest ballpark in the world, but nobody else has hit 6 out of there. Nobody else has hit 5 out of there. It doesn't make any sense. And I really actually more amazed, or almost more. I think it's impossible. That was basically almost 20 years ago. Time flies. And when we mark these moments and you think back on that accomplishment, and I remember, like I said, where I was, what that sounded like, what that looked like, what the reaction and the buzz was afterwards, and going on the air and talking about that. I was early in my career in Tallahassee, and being able to have a chance to talk about that with Lee Bowen, who was my first boss, and just standing there and talking with him in his office upon him returning on that Monday morning, us saying, have you ever seen such a thing? Because he had a career prior to getting to FSU in which he had been a minor league announcer.
What's crazy is I must have known about it and talked about it because I would have been in 5th grade, and my science teacher that year was Mr. de Blasi,
right,
and his son
closes
Mike.
Out the game.
And Mike had actually helped coach us earlier in that season, just when we were doing camp and stuff and tryouts. He was working there to help sort out tryouts. But yeah, he pitched the 9th inning in that game. So I'm sure, because I can remember talking to Mr. de Blasi weeks later about the College World Series and the regional. So I'm sure that was something that was brought up in the class back in the day, but the memory is just a little bit fuzzy. But where were you when is always a fun discussion, especially when it's about a generation ago.
Yeah, 6 home runs in a game. I'll die without that ever happening again, is my guess. And it's not morbid to say that. It's just they'd been playing baseball an awful long time prior to that happening, and it hadn't happened in all that time, and it hasn't happened since.
You could have
nobody's even come close.
Dylan G, start a game against David Ortiz at Yankee Stadium.
It wouldn't matter.
And it still wouldn't matter.
Nowhere close. Playoffs continue to suck last night. If you tuned into the NBA, you were sorry that you did so. That would be the fourth sweep. I believe that's 15 blowouts in the playoffs so far. They got a problem on their hands, man. I think it's the first time. What did I see? It's the first time that two teams in the same playoffs have gone 8-0 to start the playoffs.
I mean, think about the last 5 years. After the Spurs Heat meet for the first time, wasn't it kind of a foregone that they'd likely be meeting again the next year in the finals?
I like that rivalries get built up like that. You just got to give me something along the way.
Yeah.
You got to give me something. Golden State led for 90% of the minutes that were played in the series. That's a real
in
stat.
the second round.
It's dumb.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Pull more and lift more than any other tractor in its class. Hydrostatic power steering, industry-leading, zero deductible, 7-year limited warranty. TNT and the Mahindra 4540 tractor, making the competition green with envy. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. 229-228-5297 or online at tntsupercenter.com.
Are you wanting to raise some extra cash fast? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need to clean out that garage full of stuff you never use? Think Thrifty Nickel. Need a newer car or truck and don't want to break the bank? Think Thrifty Nickel. Buying or selling, your best bet is Thrifty Nickel. All ads appear in print and online for maximum results. Place your ad today and ask for their guaranteed results special. Call 385-0505. Get your free copy of American Classifieds, available at hundreds of locations throughout the greater Tallahassee area.
It's the place you don't want to tell your mom you go to, but on May 14th, you're taking mom with you. It's Mother's Day at Hooters. She gets her choice of 5 items for free. Mom can choose from 10-piece traditional or boneless wings, Hooters burger, buffalo or grilled chicken salad, as well as buffalo or grilled chicken sandwiches. Remember, no great story ever started over breadsticks. Hooters makes you happy. 2000 North Monroe Street, online at Hooters.com, or call them at 385-2004.
Your roof, protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
customers constantly tell us that they're getting several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
We lead busy lives. That's why Superlube offers quick and convenient service with no appointment necessary at any of our 19 area locations. And remember, Superlube offers a free top-off service between oil changes, checking and topping off fluids, and tire pressure. But did you know that right now when you buy one wiper blade, you get one free, just in time for Tallahassee's rainy season? Superlube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles.
How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
Dude, are we on TV?
Yeah, they got the cameras in here now. They tell me it's not going to affect the way we do the broadcast. I haven't noticed it so far. Tom and I just talk and everything's all right.
But is it going to make me gain 10 pounds? They say you gain 10 pounds on TV.
No, that's the food. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals? Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing baskets!
Free chicken nachos! That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello. Yeah, some of those stats regarding the NBA playoffs are amazing. Golden State led for 90% of the minutes played in the series against Utah, whom they beat 121-95 for their third sweep in the last 3 seasons and a 4-game sweep in franchise history. By the way, they also led by 20-plus points for 67 minutes. And think about this. If you go through all these numbers, they've led by 20-plus for more time, 67 minutes, than they've trailed by any margin, 56 minutes in the playoffs. That's it's an unwatchable situation. It's the first time in NBA history that 2 different teams started the playoffs 8-0. The Warriors and Cavs did that. And so yesterday when I was saying I wasn't going to prattle on about the NBA playoffs because there's nothing to talk about right now, and there isn't that much in the way of intrigue. There are other series that are, at least that particular series is a little bit more interesting. One of them is tonight. For example, I will watch San Antonio and Houston tonight, tied at 2 games apiece. That's an intriguing series. But in terms of whether or not this postseason is clouded with any kind of mystery, no. I mean, the foregone conclusion is the foregone conclusion that we all are preparing ourselves for, which is Golden State and Cleveland playing in the finals again. And I just think it's bad for the NBA when you're seeing some of these staggering numbers that I'm talking about in which the series are so lopsided. And one of the reasons that's bad isn't just the obvious, which is there's a lack of real competition, but the way they space out the postseason, you've got a month and a half of games that don't mean anything and that aren't competitive. At least if I had a 7-game series between 2 teams that didn't have a chance to beat Golden State or Cleveland and the games were all riveting, all right, well, maybe I could find a reason to invest because competition for the sake of competition, up-and-coming team that may give one of these 2 teams a real challenge in the foreseeable future. But we don't feel that way, and those games don't exist.
Percentage chance either Houston or San Antonio would beat the Warriors next series, the winner of that series.
10%?
10? Okay. Well, just revisiting it because a couple weeks ago the discussion was about how there are really 4 teams
whose fan bases can justify getting excited about the postseason because there is an outside chance they could reach the finals is the very specific way I phrased it. So that we ended up saying, okay, if everything went right and perhaps some really awful things had to happen to the two favorites, in conjunction with all the things that had to go right for these fan bases, we said what? We said, obviously, Cleveland and Golden State, so remove them from the discussion. So we said San Antonio and Houston.
Yeah.
And then we stopped there, didn't we?
You added Boston that they could lie to themselves.
Well, yeah, a fan base can lie to themselves. If their team is the 1 seed, I think you could probably
That was
lie
it,
to
though.
yourself.
We capped it at 5. See, the thing is, though, I think that the winner of Houston and San Antonio could at least put a scare into Golden State because we fell into this trap last year only to see OKC up 3-1 in the West Finals.
Should have won.
Exactly, they should have. Now, Golden State did get one of the key pieces from the team that put it in a 3-1 deficit, I grant you. But I at least think that the West Finals might provide something for us in the way of entertainment for a couple of weeks.
4-2.
Where the East won't.
Like 4-2?
Yeah, exactly. Like maybe it goes back to San Antonio or Houston at 1-1, you know?
Maybe.
And then now all of a
Maybe.
sudden you're saying, well, this actually is kind of an important game 3 just to make sure that, because, you know, Durant's got the loser blood in him from last year's West Finals, and Golden State, you know, last year did see their own blood for actually 2 occasions. 1, OKC put him on the brink, and then 2, LeBron and the Cavs come back from 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, I just find that if you're looking for alternatives that have you some measure of suspense, something to get excited about, then the things that you're turning towards should be, I would think, hockey. I mean, I know that's not an incredibly popular sport in this country. It is very niche, and it is very, very community-oriented. The cities that have a franchise get behind their team, and it's well-supported from an attendance standpoint. But from a national audience, it's not terribly popular. But here you have the Caps beating the Penguins 5-2 and forcing a Game 7 now in that series, which is riveting. And you and I have already talked about the fact that the Rangers ought not be in the position they are in, but they are. But if they're able to win, then that's going to be a Game 7 if they're able to force that. I mean, there's real intrigue involved in those postseason games.
There are, there's a doubleheader tomorrow, of Game 7s with the Pens and Capitals, and then obviously Edmonton and Anaheim going to a Game 7. And the problem for the NHL, though, is let's say Edmonton beats Anaheim, and even if Anaheim wins, it's not that much better for the NHL. But you're looking at a West Finals that features Nashville and the winner of that series. That's not that sexy.
Right.
And then on the other side, you're looking at what you would hope to be a Rangers comeback and maybe a Washington win. Then you get New York and Washington, D.C. But this is not ideal, even for the diehards. I couldn't watch Nashville and St. Louis as a series. I just can't get up for watching those two teams play. Nashville's got a lot going for it. It's a really good, really skilled team.
And you love hockey, so I'm surprised to hear you say that.
Nashville and St. I knew the style that it was going to be played was going to be slow and plodding. So I think hockey has a bit of an issue from, trying to garner any casual interest. Whereas, remember a few years back, I think it was the 2014 season, it was L.A. and New York in the Cup Finals.
And it was very, very,
And even Tampa-Chicago held its own from a rating standpoint because the style of play was wide open and fun, and then you have the Chicago market holding down a lot of casual eyeballs. Hockey has a problem this year. What you're saying is, for the casual fan, see through that.
Well, try
see through
to,
that
because
and
if you're
enjoy
just
the entertainment
rooting,
value.
Well, especially in this market, Tom, because in this market, and we're obviously, listen, we're on, you can stream us anywhere in the world. But the point is, on a daily basis, I'm thinking by and large of the core audience here in Tallahassee that I'm talking to. And I'm not going to bog them down with hockey or even the NBA. I mean, there are NBA fans here, but the product hasn't been riveting, so the intrigue hasn't been there unless you want to get into fake discussions about things you don't really believe are even an item, such as, whether or not LeBron James is facing the same level of competition that superstars of yesteryear faced, and if so, and if not, does that affect his legacy? You could do this, where this is the ESPN nonsense screaming heads shows that they do during the day, and that's what you'd have to do. You'd have to manufacture nonsense.
Remember, we went to breakfast last week, and the headline on ESPN's particular daytime show said Kobe Bryant reportedly giving Isaiah Thomas advice in the playoffs. And then the question was, is Kobe Bryant the type of person that Isaiah Thomas should be listening to?
And they had two people
discuss,
argue about it for 15 minutes. All right, so that said, these are very real numbers, and I do think a problem. The Warriors, as I said, won that game going away, 121-95. They led for 173 of the 192 minutes played in the series, including all but 37 seconds in Game 4. So, again, in the series against the Jazz, ahead 173 minutes, tied 7 minutes, trailing 12 minutes. 12 minutes in a 4-game series. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And you can go back through and look at some of those numbers I mentioned with Cleveland. It is amazing. In the postseason, the Cavaliers are 8-0, the Warriors are 8-0, and we'll hear so much about the dominance of the West compared to teams in the East, but here you go, the two teams, 8-0, 8-0. Points per game, Cleveland's averaging 114.5. The Warriors are averaging 115.3. Offensive efficiency rating for the Cavs in the postseason at 8-0 is 117. For the Warriors, 114.4. Field goal percentage, 49%. The Warriors are 48%. They're just both dispatching absolutely, in a dominating fashion. This is as dismissive of other playoff teams as two teams have been in a long time.
Every year we get 2 or 3 tweets from people sporadically throughout these 2 months of the year. They say, hey, gave hockey a chance. Thank you for recommending that. And we say, converted another one. Well,
this would be one.
Tomorrow night is your night because it's doubleheader Game 7s. If you don't like that, then you'll never like the sport. But give it a shot tomorrow.
Unless you go.
Sure.
I actually think the converts happen more readily when you take them to a game or if they go on their own to see live hockey.
Take me fishing.
Yeah, well, that's true, though, right? I mean, that's actually really true with fishing.
But that's the Prudential
you're
commercial.
Never gonna, I know, but
Take
you're never
me
going
fishing.
Unless you're a real big Bill Dance fan, you're not watching fishing. But going fishing could be.
I want to see my son smile one more time.
Lord. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
47 million Ford vehicles on the road, rolling on over 188 million tires. That's a lot of rubber to trust to anyone other than a hard-working specialist at Ford Service. No one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $140 rebate by mail on 4 select tires when you use the Ford Service credit card at the Big Tire event. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
When you need spends a little too much time in the sun relief.
Yikes.
Ow, what the? Attack of the angry mosquito relief.
Hey, watch this.
Scraped knees.
And an elbow.
Relief. You need new Gold Bond Pain and Itch Relief Cream with lidocaine. Gold Bond has the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription and starts working on contact to numb away pain and itch. New Gold Bond with lidocaine. Relief starts now. Use as directed.
Oh, God. Look at that. Is that guy...
He's dead. That dude's dead.
Man, that's crazy,
That's why you don't do that. I don't know about you. I'm not on a motorcycle. That's not my thing. That or I've seen these jet ski guys do flips over each other. This extreme sports stuff is brutal.
Dude, you know, I was in a motorcycle accident when I was 16, man. I cut my foot off.
Whoa. You cut your foot off? You got a club foot? Is that a wooden foot?
No,
Did you kick a 63-yard field goal?
I can still dance. The doctors put it back on, man. It was pretty quick, but I hit a mailbox.
You're not kidding.
No,
you cut your foot off on a mailbox.
On a mailbox.
Did you feel it?
No.
I knew it. I told everybody with severe injuries, you don't ever feel it. Like a shark bites a guy's leg off, he never feels it.
Didn't feel it at all.
Seriously, you cut your foot off?
Yeah, I seriously cut my foot off.
Which foot?
My right foot.
Like halfway down? All
about
the way
halfway.
Up, at the ankle?
At halfway. Look.
Holy. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Hi, I'm Pastor Richard Ledford. I want to invite you to join us at Restoration Place, Tallahassee, this Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. or 11:30 a.m. We're located just north of Fred George on Monroe at 3881 Monroe Street. For more information, check us out at myrpt.org. That's Restoration Place, 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. See you there Sunday morning.
If your man cave has 4 tires and a steering wheel, then CarQuest Auto Parts is for you. If you turn your radio down so you can hear your engine hum, then CarQuest is for you. That's because CarQuest Auto Parts is for those who really know and care about their car. CarQuest carries BWD engine parts. BWD, making parts that meet or exceed original equipment parts for over 90 years. CarQuest is serious auto parts. Visit CarQuest.com.
You check things all the time, like your email every 10 seconds, or your ex's Instagram. But what about checking something as important as your credit? Well, Discover makes it quick, easy, and best of all, free. Discover is now offering FICO credit scores to everyone for free, even if you're not a customer. And checking your score won't hurt your credit. We call it the Discover Credit Scorecard. And once you know your score, you should check to see if your current credit card is the best fit for you. Check your credit, compare your card. Go to discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
Games for Less, the only locally owned and operated gaming store in town, has Tallahassee's largest selection of new and used video games and game systems. The future of video gaming is at Games for Less, where they have both the PS4 and Xbox One. It's time to trade in your old systems and elevate your gaming experience now. Games for Less is also your headquarters for the best in retro gaming. Atari 2600, original Nintendo, Super NES, or Sega Genesis, you name it. They got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals? Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing baskets!
Free chicken nachos! That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
Ready yourself with a What Them Kids Doing, T. Lizzie. It's that time. I know I skip over some of these because there are things every day really to report, but I didn't want to skip over this one. There's a couple of reasons why. If you would, sir, make it happen.
Hello once again, friends. It's time for What Them Kids Doing.
Look at that jibber jabber Jeff. What's that kid bench? How fast does he run?
Hey, who let you in here?
Look at him. I bet he can bench a lot. What them kids doing, Jeff?
In this case, running back Ronald Tompkins has committed to Florida State University 2019. Yeah, it's kind of odd to get excited about a kid verbally committing in the class of 2019, but then you remind yourself it's 2017. It's not that far away. But the real reason that I read and went to the What Them Kids Doing card is that, apparently we've got a really good relationship with the high school there, Grayson High of Loganville, Georgia, as Ronald Tompkins is not the only kid to be rolling on into Tallahassee if, in fact, he stays true to that verbal commitment. Teammates Wanya Morris, Kenyatta Watson, and True Thompson have already said yes to Florida State as well, and that just flows. That's fun to say. That's something that I could project years from now we'll have fun noting. Remember that class that had all those Loganville kids in it, Tom? You remember Kenyatta Watson, True Thompson, Wanya Morris, and Ronald Tompkins? I do, Jeff. Who could forget? They were great when we beat Miami for the 9th straight year. They were a big part of that success. So I liked saying their names in that order. And he told Rivals, did Tompkins, that the reason he is officially committing to Florida State is that he was down there for the visit, liked the campus, quote unquote, and thought that it was sophisticated. Rare to hear a commit of any kind to the football team describe his visit in Tallahassee and the campus coupled with the football facilities as being sophisticated.
Well, if you've seen the GPA and standardized test requirements to get into this university in the last 4 to 5 years,
sure.
It might be getting sophisticated. Now, College Town on a Friday or Saturday night is anything but sophisticated.
No, belligerent. It is not sophisticated in any way, shape, or form. It is...
That's a fun game. Belligerent or sophisticated?
Loose. Might be loose. Usually fall down drunk is another way to describe what's happening in that area.
Discussions in the psych building. Sophisticated. Partying on top of the College Town building with the lasers and lights and the big pool.
Belligerent. I just want to say once again, Wanya Morris, Kenyatta Watson, and True Thompson. That's what them kids doing, Tom Lang. True Thompson's coming to Florida State. Actually, I just wanted to say True Thompson. I really didn't care anything about Ronald Tompkins the second. True Thompson sounds like he should be a great player. I don't even know what he plays. True Thompson's coming to Florida State. He says so. And if he does, he's going to be great because his name is True Thompson. That's awesome.
It does roll off the tongue.
True Thompson?
Yeah. It's like Jack Rye, who's in my Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
What
Jack Rye was
name
solid, yeah.
For a left-handed hitting.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
No, you're right.
Now batting.
Jack Rye.
This guy must be a player.
Yeah. Well, if my youngest son ever makes it to Florida State and plays ball, Clark Cameron will sound good at the plate. That's a baseball name more than it is a football name, unless he's a quarterback.
Would he play the Superman theme for his walk-up?
No. We will dismiss any Clark Kent references. We'll just do Clark Cameron. In and of itself sounds good. Bryce Cameron sounds good, but it's not really. That's more of a football name in a way. Outside linebacker Bryce Cameron.
Sounds like a quarterback, actually.
You think so?
Bryce Cameron.
You're thinking of Bryce Petty, maybe?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Bryce Pop. You remember Bryce Pop for the Bills?
Can't say I do.
P-A-U-P?
Ooh, all right.
Spelled his name wrong.
Paup.
B-R-Y-C-E. That's not how you spell Bryce, but that's how he spells Bryce, and countless others do too. They're all wrong.
Ronald Tompkins knows that we have, an assembly line of
752 running backs.
And they're all really good?
Every one of them set to be all-world for years to come. That's what we do.
Wait till you see Ryan Green.
Poor Ryan Green would start at almost every team in this conference at running back for almost every team in this conference. Not all, but maybe almost. I would say vast majority, certainly. But you know who's going to start when he comes here? True Thompson. My man True Thompson's going to do some things. Never seen you play, True.
Doesn't know, where to go. Offense, defense. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm all about some True.
Over under 1,075 rushing yards for Cam Akers this season.
You think he's going to go 1,700 plus yards?
1,075.
Oh, I was like, well, Jesus.
1,075.
Tom, have you lost your mind? Good Lord.
Well, I mean, we got Christian Jones playing linebacker for us this year.
With this offensive line?
1,075
And the fact
rushing
that
yards.
he's not even really going to be the true starter.
Oh. You know who is true? True
Thompson. Coming in here kicking ass, taking names. True. All right, I'll say under, first of all. Secondly, as we go on through the summer, I'm going to get increasingly agitated when we talk about the offensive line being the Achilles heel yet again. I'm not one of the people that just jumps on board with our offensive line sucks year in and year out discussion, because that's not always true. And even when it's not true, people still say it's what's the problem with the team. But more than I'd like to say it's a problem, we've had to say it's a problem. And when I look at the receivers and I look at the defense, I think this team should be able to compete at a very high level. When we look at the tight ends and the running backs, teams should be able to compete at a very high level. And while there's no doubt DeAndre Francois has to get better, can get better, though. He's awfully young and has just played one full season of college football. Toughness doesn't come into play. He's certainly every bit of that. Like him to be a little bit quicker, getting the ball out of his hands. The offensive line could go a long way in helping remedy whatever problems we have if they could only find a measure of consistency, and we could be a playoff team. But I sense that most of us doubt that's going to happen. And the more I think about it, the more it pisses me off.
What if we had True Thompson?
What does he play? Whatever he plays,
whatever
he's going
you
to
need.
Be,
That's what
he's
True
gonna
Thompson
be great.
plays.
True Thompson is going to be great, whatever he is. Never seen him play. No idea. He could be a kicker, but he'll be a good one.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
It's your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Customers constantly tell us that they're getting several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay with Miller's Tree Service. When you need work done in your yard, you want a professional, someone you can trust to provide high-quality service and get the job done right. We've got 3 certified arborists and 6 work crews that can meet all your tree care needs. Hire the professionals at Miller's Tree Service, where we'll go out on a limb for you.
Miller's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
It's the place you don't want to tell your mom you go to, but on May 14th, you're taking mom with you. It's Mother's Day at Hooters. She gets her choice of 5 items for free. Mom can choose from 10-piece traditional or boneless wings, Hooters burger, buffalo or grilled chicken salad, as well as buffalo or grilled chicken sandwiches. Remember, no great story ever started over breadsticks. Hooters makes you happy. 2000 North Monroe Street, online at hooters.com, or call them at 385-2004.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally caught up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get the Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, then bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 888-789-5042. 888-789-5042, 888-789-5042, 888-789-5042.
Tallahassee's unquestioned sports authority.
Who do you think you are? I am.
97.9 ESPN Radio. This is the Jeff Cameron Show. Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Email the show. Speak faster. JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. I don't care that he's apologized, Tom Lang. I'm still going to ask you what you do with that chump, Matt Harvey, or what any organization does in a situation such as that. I figured he'd apologize. Kind of has to.
When the entire baseball world is saying that you're in the wrong, and that means, by extension, that your agent, who could be considered as baseball agent Satan himself, has put you in a position where you need to, stop being a D-bag.
True Thompson is an elite defensive tackle. Right up your alley. Thank you. Woo. At Jay Cameron Show. See, what did you think I was going to say?
I don't know.
There was nothing about what I said there. I just said True Thompson is an elite defensive tackle right up your alley. That's good news. Thank you, C-Steph. I am pleased with the announcement that the guy I had no idea about was, in fact, the defensive tackle. That guarantees the True Thompson, if his name didn't already, it comes into Tallahassee and dominates. Again, without ever having seen him play, I'm going to guess that is, in fact, true.
Boy, the long line of defensive tackles that you serve.
I don't know how I can serve this university any better than I already do, but the way that I, annually procure elite talent at the defensive tackle position, Jimbo Fisher needs to, start sliding me some cash. Come on, coach. See what I'm doing out here? Left and right, reeling them in, making it happen. Yeah, you can. You got more money than you know what to do with. I'll tell you what. I won't tell anybody about it. You just throw me a car, and I'll keep bringing in these defensive tackles.
I can do this.
We can discuss what kind of car.
We're doing some good things. You know what I'm saying?
We can do better. I can make that happen. My uncanny ability to deliver elite defensive tackles year in and year out does not have to go wasted. I can continue down this line to make it happen. Just need a car.
That's good to know.
I got a nice car. I got a great car. My friends at Kraft Nissan make sure of that year in and year out. That's true. But we could use multiple cars in the Cameron family.
We're doing some good
3 and 4
things.
cars at a time. Yeah, I hear you, Jimbo. I don't need your words. I need your cars. So If True comes here and dominates the way that he most certainly will, then I get the credit for that one too. And then I'll bring on another one on top of it. One that's in question come signing day, because that's the legacy. It isn't just getting a lot of yeses at defensive tackle. The legacy that I provide is the ability to get these guys when it's up in the air, when there's a question mark on signing day and nobody knows and the cameras are there, and I announce ahead of time, it's happening, he's coming to Tally. I'll do that. I'll double down this year.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Makes it quick, easy, and best of all, free. Discover is now offering FICO credit scores to everyone for free, even if you're not a customer. And checking your score won't hurt your credit. We call it the Discover Credit Scorecard. And once you know your score, you should check to see if your current credit card is the best fit for you. Check your credit, compare your card. Go to discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
Oscar Mayer's making big changes, and hot dogs will never be the same again. We went back to the drawing board and the cutting board until we had a line of the world's best hot dogs. We got rid of the artificial preservatives in all of our meat and waved goodbye to byproducts in every single hot dog for every single one of you. And right now, the Wienermobile is driving across America to put a hot dog in every hand. Oscar Mayer, for the love of hot dogs.
If you're a pro, you know this is not efficient because you know there's a better way. And pros also know that the better way to save money is to go to Lowe's. This Tuesday through Thursday, pros get 5% off all purchases in-store and online, or save 10% when you use your Lowe's Business Credit account. So hurry in and save big on the supplies pros use every day. Visit the Pro Desk or lowesforpros.com for details. Credit offer subject to credit approval, U.S. only.
If you're struggling to pay or haven't been making your student loan payments, listen carefully to this urgent alert. Have you been out of school for 10 or more years and you're still making your student loan payments? Are your student loans past due or even in default? Can't go back to school because of an old student loan problem? We can help you if you qualify. Your student loans can be taken out of default. We can stop the wage garnishments, stop the collection calls, and stop the seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and see if we can help you reduce your student loan payments. One quick 10-minute call could solve them right now. So call the Student Loan Helpline now.
800-419-2201, 800-419-2201, 800-419-2201. That's 800-419-2201.
This is a fee-based document preparation service to help you access free government programs. Call for complete details, not available in all states.
This Day in Sports, brought to you by Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary. Get your history lesson weekdays at 5:30 during the Jeff Cameron Show, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals? Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing baskets!
Free chicken nachos! That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. It's time for some in-state baseball. Florida State and Jacksonville University for the Noles. It's their final non-conference game of the season, a 6 o'clock first pitch at Hauser Stadium. A judge has agreed to erase Aaron Hernandez's conviction in a 2013 murder case because he died before his appeal was heard. A legal doctrine that calls for vacating convictions when a defendant dies before the appeal was the binding precedent. Utah State wide receiver Rashad Lewis, son of 13-time Pro Bowler Ray Lewis, is transferring from Utah. He's now going to play in the Big Ten and will join the Maryland Terrapins. On the hardwood tonight, NBA Rockets and Spurs series tied at 2 games apiece. Last night, the Warriors made easy work of Utah. They swept that series 4 games to none. And for all you Dancing with the Stars fans, David Ross continues to shine, advancing to the next round after last night's show.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hello, thanks for tuning to it, and a fine Lawn Maintenance Tuesday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you're going to listen live via the streaming free always. Don't miss anything, but if you do, remember, we post all 3 hours both to iTunes and our own audio vault. That's a good thing, and it's brought to you with limited commercial interruption thanks to our great podcast sponsor, the fine folks at SVN, Carlton Dean. They've got the information, the knowledge, the know-how, the resources, and the experience to make you money in commercial real estate. Go to carltondean.com. You can email the show if you like. It's JCS979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app, working for your mobile devices. And if you want to watch us perform the program, that's easy to do too. Go to YouTube, type in ESPN Tallahassee. You'll find us. Hey, you know what sucks? Losing your leading hitter for the rest of the season. And that's what's happened to Florida State. They'll play baseball in a couple of hours over at Dick Hauser Stadium. They'll do so against Jacksonville, the last of the non-conference games, before we get into some meatier matchups to close out the year in ACC play. But Red Appling has been simply fantastic, and he's out 4 to 6 weeks, which is the rest of the year, with a broken foot. And I'm angry about that because it is this offense that is going to have to carry the day for the Noles. And while it seemed really difficult to believe that they were going to go on much of a postseason run, given their many problems that persist, such as defense and base running and pitching, but at least you could fall back on that offense and say, who knows? Maybe the bats get hot at the right time and carry. Well, yeah, not going to happen. Damn it! A little bit of bad luck, a little bit of poor play, some mistakes in coaching, a myriad of things to point to, but this is just bad luck.
Yeah, the my hockey team, the Lightning, had a rough finish to their year, but there was a bout of complacency combined with injury luck. And you go back to the beginning of the season, and I say to myself, oh, man, if you didn't mess around for the first 20, 25 games of the year, you wouldn't be in the situation you're in that you need help on the final day of the season. Too bad, too late. And this team, although I don't think it's necessarily a complacency that plagued it in the beginning of the season,
It just weren't good enough.
it made itself a bed that it has to now, if a lot of things don't go right for you, there's not going to be an ideal scenario for you to advance to a super regional, let alone Omaha. So, they got to fight through it as best they can, but I just don't know that the starting rotation, the way that it's constructed right now, is good enough to project that you can win 4 out of your next 6 ACC games against Wake Forest here for 3 and then up at Louisville for 3 next weekend.
No, I wouldn't think so, and I didn't like them to win either. Well, I didn't like them to win the Louisville series with or without Red Applin in the lineup. I mean, there were problems that were going to plague this team moving forward that have been a hindrance all year long, but, this is a big hit. I hate it for the kid, too. I mean, removing just the frustrations of a team that now has seen their opportunity to maybe go on a run because of a really good offense and really kind of a lengthened lineup. That's removed. But in addition, I mean, that kid has really come over and played great baseball for Florida State. Really been the most consistent offensive weapon that they've had all season long. And now for him not to be able to do that in the postseason's really frustrating. I hate it for him. I hate it for that program. I hate it for us as fans to not be able to see them at their best with opportunities. But you're right. It only would ratchet up the attention on the need to get better starting pitching, more consistent starting pitching. And we believe one of the guys that could help out in that cause is kind of rotting away in a bullpen role that doesn't fully utilize his skill set, his talents, his arm, and in the form of Drew Carlton. So if they weren't going to pitch him, as I said on yesterday's program during the Pacific Series as a starter, it just doesn't appear that they're going to. And I question that.
Obviously, it's odd to think about a regional being away from Tallahassee. The seating was weird one year about, 7 years ago. They went up to, the Northeast.
And they won it.
Came back, played a super here because that's the way it just ended up working out with the pairing.
Beat Vanderbilt here, right?
I believe that's right.
Yeah.
So, it can happen where you go away from home and you end up winning. But think about the way a regional is constructed. Friday night, everybody can pitch. Even at that 4 seed, usually they have a guy.
Well, that's the problem. Usually you get the team that you should handle easily has at least a guy, or else they wouldn't have made the postseason, sure.
And right now you project Florida State as a 2 or a 3, so you'd be playing, somebody else's ace. And think about what that recipe is compared to a super regional, which is just a straight up 2 out of 3. That's much easier to consider. Well, there's strategy that typically goes into an actual regional versus a super regional, and that's, do we want to waste, especially if you're a 1 seed like Florida State is.
Well, this year we don't waste our ace on a Friday night game anyhow. Tom, we'll be used to it.
Well, okay, so you're going to pitch Sands on that Friday against somebody else's ace? Well, now you're in the loser's bracket. Good luck. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, I guess.
Well, because what I'm talking about is eventually you're going to run into a pitcher that can shut your lineup down. Can you answer 0 for 0 in the line score? Right now we're not built to do that.
Well, no, not even Holton. I mean, that's so no. They don't have that guy. They've whiffed on pitchers for a long time now. You haven't had a really elite staff. We used to put together Friday, Saturday, Sunday guys that I thought could match up against almost any team in the country, or at least belonged in the conversation. There was consistency. Given years, certainly better than others. There's no doubt. That's how it works out with graduation and guys going early and all that stuff. But for a long time in this program's history, and on a day where we're referencing this program's history because this being the anniversary of Marshall McDougal's 6 home runs in one game feat for the ages. Although that be an offensive feat, we think back to those kinds of teams. Nick Stocks was a pitcher on that team, and I love Stocks. I loved his attitude. I loved his stuff. I loved the way he played and pitched. We really haven't had – Weaver is a beast, and is obviously accordingly went through and has done well and made it to the majors, and good for him. But we've whiffed in the last 10 years or so with more frequency than I'd like.
Well, the crazy part is, you go back to February, January as we're previewing this season, and the depth of good pitching in the starting rotation was the talking point. That's why Carlton made the move in the first place, is because the thought was, we've got too many starting pitchers, bullpen's a mess, let's go send the kid out there. As long as we pitch him twice a weekend, he'll be okay with it. And now it's starting rotation is a mess, not going to bring the kid back. I don't know. Is it a preparation thing? It seems so strange that somebody with a rubber arm wouldn't be able to make that transition right back to where he came from, considering it's what he does best. But it's just funny to me that, 3 months ago we're talking about that particular facet of the team being the sure thing. That finally you got yourself a weekend staff that can go up with the best, that can make bats miss. And so now if you have to match up with a Florida in the postseason, you don't feel outgunned like you did in past seasons. But that's turned out to be exactly the opposite of the truth.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a holding pattern here. We've been to the College World Series 3 times since 2000. It's 2017. And people are rightfully very frustrated, and they keep waiting for the season that says, okay, things are getting better, and we thought this might be one. Certainly there was reason to be excited. Now, they've been really unlucky, too. I mean, they have had a myriad of really weird events. Everything from, as Martin was quick to point out, and he's not wrong. It sounds like an excuse, but he's not wrong. I mean, you get a 20-something-year-old kid with shingles, for Christ's sakes, that's crazy. The stud recruit that comes in and decides to shun the pros and come play college baseball and is going to hit for power for you and really kind of do wonders for the lineup is in a scrimmage, makes a diving play at third base, throws across the diamond to first, and in the follow-through breaks his thumb on the ground and misses a good chunk of your season. And then there's been ankle problems and shoulder problems, and then your best players, the guys you thought you could count on, in particular, a guy like Taylor Walls, Cal Raleigh, 2 guys that had shown you already that they could be elite. And Raleigh does it as a freshman, despite all of the praise being heaped upon him and the pressure that comes with those kinds of expectations. Not only does he live up to it, he shows you why the coaches were gushing. And then he comes in and has this kind of a year, which is nothing compared to what they thought he could do. It's certainly not a step forward. It's a step backwards. And Taylor Walls has been a problem. He gets suspended, everything else. I mean, I don't know. You couldn't have predicted that, and not all of that is on coaching, but you can't completely excuse it away either because it just is another seemingly lost year.
Agreed. That just doesn't – none of that improves or explains away the team ERA, out of your starting rotation. And I hear you that you have to hold a 5 a.m. practice and you suspend one of your team captains and somebody that you thought was going to be a cornerstone of your lineup, your team, defensively speaking as well. He's a preseason All-American in Walls. I get it. But the lineup's here. Through all of that, and even this latest problem with Red Applin, I mean, we believe that the lineup is going to at least be able to absorb that to where it's going to be an above average to very good collegiate batting order. But the problem is...
It's the second best in the ACC. It's scored more runs than anybody in the conference, save for North Carolina. Yeah, they've been really good.
But you cited the weekend rotations ACC numbers this year yesterday, and you got an ERA of 4, 5, and 5 as your 1, 2, and 3, and you don't even pitch them in that order. I mean, that's crazy. That's the problem. And none of those injuries is going to help this. But there is a guy who could, and that continues to be.
And let's make it clear, even the guy that we think could be utilized in a different role and one that we would, certainly we're basically advocating for him to be a starter in the rotation in Drew Carlton. I mean, he's not.
No, we've had Gil Martin, Lee Brandt, Weaver, guys like that over the years.
He's not like that. I mean, he's just a good pitcher.
But his ceiling has shown you in the biggest moments he can provide you a show-stopping performance, and that's the thing that it seems like. He's just
beating
a dead horse, I suppose.
Well, what I'm saying though, and we'll move forward because I want to ask you the question about Matt Harvey. I just watched his apology a moment ago, but I actually have a bigger question I want to touch on. So. Here's, again, I'm not trying to besmirch what we've been pumping up Drew Carlton as a guy that shouldn't be utilized in this hybrid closer role or whatever he is, and rather in the rotation. But I don't think he's a dominant pitcher. So even though we think he's being improperly utilized, we're not saying this would be the cure-all. And that's part of the larger discussion is that you don't have the guy. He's not on the staff.
That is correct. However, you have a guy that gives you a much better chance.
He does. And I would play those percentages just like you would. I'm just saying he, too, is not a dominant pitcher.
But I think given that, you got guys that are pitching the way they are in your weekend rotation, it's not a slightly better chance. He gives you a much better chance to set the tone for a weekend series.
All right, so Narcissist Clown Boy apologized while we were doing our segment, and I saw it during the break there, and he says he's really sorry. He admitted to going out, I guess, drinking. The New York Post is saying that he was out combining these, which I wouldn't do. Just as an aside, I'm criticizing him as a drinker. As well as a baseball
If
player.
you're going to do it, at least be good at it.
Well, my man had champagne and then somehow went from that to vodka and then tequila. I mean, we've all had some nights where things get away. It can happen, especially if you're inclined to let those kinds of things happen. But even in those moments where indiscretion rules the day, or in this case, the night, from 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. at a particular bar in the meatpacking plant, or district or neighborhood or whatever the hell they're calling it. He lives in the Village, doesn't he? Anyhow.
Whatever the kids call it these days.
Yeah, that area of New York City. So how do you go from champagne to vodka? Ooh, that's a big leap.
As long as you have the OJ as the constant
You gotta
in the equation.
yeah, maybe. But then tequila. Get it together, my man.
Till 4 a.m.
Well,
how was he golfing at 8 or 9?
Because golf's important.
I'm talking about how's he golfing.
Oh, I'm sure he's not golfing well.
No.
But he was with the 4 buddies. He probably was drinking.
Yeah. He's yakking off
They
the second
just
tee of the bush.
No, he's not. He's a pro's pro. He picked up a drink as soon as he woke up. My man picked up where he left off just a few hours earlier and teed it up. That's why he didn't show up for work. He was in the bag. This is a hollow apology, right? This is like, whatever. That guy.
Thank you.
I had to gather myself. The question I'm going to ask is, when would you let a guy like that go, as immensely talented as he is? When would you just make a decision to let a guy like that go?
I thought it interesting earlier this afternoon that Buster Olney, he wrote a piece in which he says, should they consider the nuclear option, which is to send Matt Harvey down to the minors?
Which he wouldn't report, which is why it's a nuclear option, because that's severing the relationship.
Sure, but it gets him out of the clubhouse, and it allows...
And you still retain the rights.
You retain the rights. He's got another year of arbitration, so he's under team control through the 2018 season. And maybe that's just a way to say, hey, either grow up or sit on your ass for the next season and a half, but we're not going to do anything with you. And I don't. That's not the right move.
It's probably not a good move.
But when you have a guy like Buster Olney putting out there that the Mets decided not to give him another pass, that implies to me that there are so many more stories that we, the public, don't know about, aside from the 2015 saga where he didn't show up for a postseason mandatory workout.
Well, and the fact that writers chose to go all in on him says they don't need the access that his agent or that team would normally provide them, and or they're okay with it.
Precisely. And last night, Kirkjian, after he called the Mets game, they played San Francisco at Citi Field last night, and he was on with SVP. And he mentioned that, the Mets, quote-unquote, culture of coddling is going to end in the post-Harvey world. That's fascinating to me. Another example of somebody who really doesn't say anything negative about anybody at all in Tim Kirkjian, and he decides to open up about what's wrong with the culture in New York. But even still, Olney correctly pointed out that may be true, what Kirkjian's talking about, a culture of coddling, but this is a Matt Harvey specific issue.
Yeah.
This guy, you could have the most, tightly run ship,
and he's chosen to ignore it.
And he would ignore it either way.
Right, yeah. There's a sense of entitlement that he brings to the table that is seldom seen, and that's saying something about a professional athlete. That said, this is so much not, I want for listeners to know, I don't bring this up because Tom's favorite team is the Mets. This is less about the Mets, although this is a pervasive problem with the organization, and more about when do you, as if you're a GM of your favorite team or you're a fan, and you say to yourself, when is a guy, despite his many talents and all that he can provide for your franchise, too big a detriment, too big a deleterious influence on the rest of the clubhouse that you just decide to cut him loose? And it's rare that we ever have a conversation like that involving a guy who's this talented and isn't doing criminal things. He's just doing selfish, self-centered, and really, frankly, dumb things.
Well, what I'm getting at is not about me being a Mets fan.
Right.
I've had a close relationship with this scenario. Yeah. But let's say if somebody like a Tom Block or a Keith Jones or a Gene Deckerhoff a couple of years from now says, well, things have really gotten disorganized with the football program, and they go out and they say that publicly,
well, that would let you know
tells
that
you
it's
that
a
things
nightmare.
are a disaster,
Yeah,
right?
because
If
there's
Tim
no way that
Kirkjian-
they would ever do that, right?
Right. If Kirkjian or Rosenthal or Olney are really coming with heavy-handed criticisms, they don't want to do that. That's not in their nature. They're not that guy who writes the column to rip somebody. So that tells you all you need to know about what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I just keep wondering how long, how many times. I saw his apology, and I'm sure the players were like, if a guy can help a team win, they'll put up with it. I still remain absolutely amazed that somebody hasn't had a go at him in that clubhouse, because that's a very different deal. The Mets have to say things and do things publicly, but in the clubhouse, players, there's a different code.
I just think the hard part is, and again, this isn't about being a Met fan. He grew up a Yankee fan, and so they cut him. He'll sign on a minor league invite with the Yankees, and he'll dominate because he'll care. Because he's got all of the ability in the world, and that's the frustrating thing here. That's the chip that if the Mets are trying to trade him or something along those lines.
Well, they have no leverage now.
The only leverage they have is that he's under team control for another year, and so his arbitration number is going to keep his salary down below $10 million for the chance in a contract year at a guy who can throw, to a 2 to 3 ERA and dominate for you in a contract show and prove year. But even still, he has to show up and be able to pitch. Well, he's got a 550 right now.
You kind of got to show up to work. You can't be drunk and not show up to the ballpark, my man. All that telling doesn't make.
Well, I mean, if Johnny Manziel had Jay Cutler's arm, I think he'd get a little bit more of a chance.
I don't know. That kid, he would still be really short, even with Jay Cutler's arm. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Got it at Games for Less. Games for Less, the Super Walmart Shopping Center on Appalachia Parkway. Give them a call today at 850-219-3535. That's Games for Less.
It's the place you don't want to tell your mom you go to, but on May 14th, you're taking mom with you. It's Mother's Day at Hooters. She gets her choice of 5 items for free. Mom can choose from 10-piece traditional or boneless wings, Hooters burger, buffalo or grilled chicken salad, as well as buffalo or grilled chicken sandwiches. Remember, no great story ever started over breadsticks. Hooters makes you happy. 2000 North Monroe Street, online at Hooters.com, or call them at 385-2004.
Today, there are over 47 million Ford vehicles on the road, rolling on over 188 million tires. That's a lot of rubber to trust to anyone other than a hardworking specialist at Ford Service. No one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $140 rebate by mail on 4 select tires when you use the Ford Service credit card at the Big Tire event. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
When you need spent a little too much time in the sun relief.
Yikes.
Ow, what the? Attack of the angry mosquito relief.
Hey, watch this.
scraped knees.
And an elbow.
Relief. You need new Gold Bond Pain and Itch Relief Cream with lidocaine. Gold Bond has the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription and starts working on contact to numb away pain and itch. New Gold Bond with lidocaine. Relief starts now. Use as directed.
Hey, Bugsy, you hear the news about Vinny?
Yeah, it's a real shame he owed money to the IRS and they finally cut up with him.
Just like Al Capone.
If the IRS can get the Capone, imagine what they can do to little old Vinny, huh?
Poor cat, he was on top of the world, and bada boom, bada bing.
What Vinny needs now is an offer he can't refuse.
Hey, you got a tax problem? Does the IRS claim you owe them a bunch of dough? They can get you too. So call the tax relief line now and learn if you qualify to negotiate your $10,000 plus IRS tax debt for up to a 75% savings. Don't be like Al or Vinny and get busted. Make this free call now. Learn how you may be able to pay the IRS less.
Call now. 888-789-5042. 888-789-5042, 888-789-5042, 888-789-5042.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals? Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing baskets!
Free chicken nachos! That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. It's time for some in-state baseball. Florida State and Jacksonville University for the Noles. It's their final non-conference game of the season, a 6 o'clock first pitch at Hauser Stadium. A judge has agreed to erase Aaron Hernandez's conviction in the 2013 murder case because he died before his appeal was heard. A legal doctrine that calls for vacating convictions when the defendant dies before the appeal was the binding precedent. Utah State wide receiver Rashad Lewis, son of 13-time Pro Bowler Ray Lewis, is transferring from Utah. He's now going to play in the Big Ten and will join the Maryland Terrapins. On the hardwood tonight, NBA Rockets and Spurs series tied at 2 games apiece. Last night, the Warriors made easy work of Utah. They swept that series 4 games to none. And for all you Dancing with the Stars fans, David Ross continues to shine, advancing to the next round after last night's show.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
I'm rolling up in a big ring.
I have a growing infatuation with the. I told you this, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. But I keep checking them now. I'm almost obsessed. Not for the bad reasons, but for the good reasons. I just marvel at what it says. Anyhow, the sponsored stories on websites. You know, I told you that I'm infatuated by them, and I find them hilarious. And the latest one that cracked me up was fans questioned the authenticity of Kim Kardashian beach photo, and it's a photo of her looking terrible. And I love that that's a sponsored headline because, think of how many teenagers are clicking on that who care about something like that. It works, right? They're going to get you, though, them. But also, I love the idea that somebody would care enough that they would want to refute an alleged photo of Kim, the most vapid, stupid bitch to ever walk the planet, Kim Kardashian. Somebody would go, hey, that's not true. That's really not her butt. Like, that's a thing somebody would type is awesome to me. You don't find that entertaining?
Sure.
I think it's the best. She's like the world's worst human being. It's great. That somebody would care.
Yeah, and I could see how kids would enjoy that kind of stuff because I went through the phase of MTV and watching The Real World every year, and caring about what actually happened to those cast members,
Yeah, but not, you wouldn't worry they were being slandered.
No,
that's the part that I think is awesome.
But it's always escalation, right? Because the way people consume things changes. I can remember watching the gossipy shows on VH1 in the latter part of high school.
Oh, man.
They'd show about how much it costs to live where Christina Aguilera lives.
Right.
And then what's a day in the life like and how much money is spent when she goes on a trip to
Right.
Monaco or some nonsense like that. Sure. I got hooked into that for a good year.
Did
Yeah.
you really?
Oh, yeah. I was probably 18, 19, somewhere
No, I'm
there.
not. I'm not. It just.
It was in conjunction. VH1 actually had a nice little period of time there where they had the I Love the 80s show. And
Well, I
then
remember
they spun it off.
I love the I Love the 80s show.
Sure.
Yeah, they would show you the pop-up video. I liked the pop-up video.
Oh,
That was
pop-up video.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
You learned all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's just interesting stuff, like how a video was made, where the location was, any of the weird oddities that an artist wanted something. Or, but yeah.
Well, then they spun it off with that show where they had like the burnout celebrities and they were all in a house.
No,
Like
see,
Ron
that
Jeremy
I
was in a
didn't-
house
yeah, I
with Bridget
couldn't-
Nielsen, and then she fell in love with Flava Flav, and
I couldn't watch
Vanilla
that.
Ice was in the house.
All addicts, which led to the addict show.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly. And then, I mean, listen, I was a late high school, early college dumb kid, so sure
Well,
I watched
I don't
that.
know. Well, you were never dumb, but I just don't. I think that the
So
degree.
those are the people who, in turn, the next generation clicks on stories like this the way I watch those stupid shows.
I'm just thinking it's awesome that somebody would be furious that they would think, well, they're like Page Six is doctoring Kim Kardashian's butt to make her look bad. Like, imagine taking the time to utter that, think that, write about that, tweet that, talk about that. That's a thing?
Okay. What was it you talked about? This would be the worst job in the world.
Oh, the 3,000 new employees that Facebook hired to try to make sure
Murder's
they're
done.
able to remove murder-suicide videos from Facebook. That's a real thing. That's a job.
Okay, but imagine being the person. I'm sure there's a great Coen Brothers movie you can make out of this.
Well, I'm sure they will, which will be great.
Being the person who has to write these stories. Like there's somebody who has to actually pen this at
Well,
some
but I
point.
mean, that's a legitimate story. Like, that was announced by Facebook that they had hired 3,000 new employees because Zuckerberg's getting a lot of heat for the fact that there was a guy in Thailand that hung him and his child, and it was online for 24 hours that you could watch a guy do that. And then, of course, that just horrible.
Yeah, the
any of these things
Cleveland
are,
situation.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, any of these things are mind-numbing and brutal. But yeah, it's gotten so bad that they now have to hire 3,000 new employees just to monitor their site to keep people from posting, or you can't keep people from posting, but to take down as quickly as possible a murder-suicide.
I'm just saying, think about, like the guy who was probably a 50 to 55-year-old former journalist, and he covered a Major League
and he's
Baseball
gotta write
team
that
for
story,
10 years.
yeah.
And then he's got to write the Kardashian story. Because that's the only thing that pays is this guy has to kick
gotta-
out 10 to 12 sponsored stories per day on gossip.
Let me tell you something. If you get to a point, if you were a real journalist, if at any point you were a real journalist and you are at the point where they come to you and say, you got to write this story about Kim Kardashian, you could stop there. No matter what it is, you should walk. You should walk. You're better off, literally, we all have to have jobs. You're better off sweeping the lot at Walmart or doing something than you are writing a story about that. That's not come on. Seriously, you'd weep.
We could offer you $95,000 a year.
They won't. But you would weep as you typed each letter. Just sobbing at your desk. Just
And remember that the final two paragraphs are about what's next. So usually the second to last paragraph, it consists of simply one sentence that says, so what's next for Kim? ? And then you list what's next for her.
Get the chills.
There's your editorial meeting for the sponsored headlines.
I'm serious. That's like, remember in the 80s, everybody was very concerned about what's happening at the post office. What's going on at the post office?
No, I don't
So
know.
much so that it became a phrase, he went postal. So
Really? That's where that came from.
Yes, they were blowing each other away. The mailmen were just shooting up the joint left and right because
Really?
it's the most mind-numbing sorting the mail 4 o'clock in the morning. Just there's Smith, Jones, Wilson. They were flipping out and just shooting people. And
I didn't know that.
Oh man, they were running jokes like
I know postal as a phrase.
Right,
Going
the
postal.
the people at the offices were like, the joke was, you never want to say anything to a guy who's maybe slacking off at the mail office. We're like, Hammerhand, what you doing over there? Nothing. Keep it up. Like you wouldn't double down. You wouldn't double down because my man's going to just go crazy and get an Uzi and blow the place up. So that's where going postal came from. They had a spate of like 7 or 8 guys just lose their mind at the post office, just start shooting people. And That's where that comes from. So I immediately think to myself of the phrase going postal when you're telling me that a real journalist who wrote real stories about things that matter has an editor say, now listen, we got the big Kardashian scoop today, Charlie. I don't know what's on your agenda today, but we're going to need you to write about this. And let's not forget to tease that her and Kanye are going out in Manhattan tonight for dinner. And our people are going to be there.
You've forgotten that sentence in 2 of your last 5 articles that you sent me.
There won't be a third.
But here's the thing. There's the screenplay.
It's just
the beginning
nuts.
of this young person's career is the 80s, covering the Postal Service beat. And you film it in such a way.
Postal Service beat.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
I gotcha,
they're the ones, the intrepid reporter who goes and finds that this trend is troubling. And they have the camera work of the person at the postal office. And then you juxtapose that with their job that they get when they're in their 50s or 60s, writing stories about Kim Kardashian's butt and whether or not the cellulite is real. And they kill them. You know what I'm saying? There it is. There's the
it's a worse fate.
Perfectly
It's a much worse fate.
symmetrical.
The mail just keeps coming, and the poor guy's like, God.
Oh, Kim K just tweeted, Rick, we need you.
Rick. Yeah, he's just. Though Torrey Smith signed with the Philadelphia Eagles this past winter, says the story, the wide receiver is still taking care of Baltimore. Here's something to make you smile as we go to break, and it's not Kim Kardashian's fat ass. On Saturday, the 28-year-old and his wife paid adoption fees for 46 animals at the Barks Animal Shelter's Project Runaway. See what they did there? They also made a donation on top of the fees. According to the organization's website, Smith is a regular at the event. He spent the first 4 years of his NFL career with the Ravens before playing the previous 2 seasons with the 49ers, and regularly gives large sums of money and pays fees for dogs, cats, and other animals that are in these shelters to be adopted free of charge for the people that come in and pick up one of the sponsored animals. How cool is that? A lot cooler than whether or not Kim Kardashian's ass has cellulite and is the subject of a nefarious campaign by...
Well, I think we can come to a consensus that is just huge, guys.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
In a world
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Wooden foot?
No, I
Did
remember.
you kick a 63-yard field goal?
I can still dance. The doctors put it back on, man. It was pretty quick, but I hit a mailbox.
You're not kidding.
No,
You
no,
cut
no.
your foot off on a mailbox.
On a mailbox.
Did you feel it?
No.
I knew it. I told everybody with severe injuries, you don't ever feel it. Like a shark bites a guy's leg off, he never feels it.
Didn't feel it at all.
Seriously, you cut your foot off?
Yeah, I seriously cut my foot off.
Which foot?
My right foot.
Like halfway down? All the
about
way
halfway.
Up, at the ankle?
At halfway. Look.
Holy. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The weather's heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. Your Big Ben Makita Pro Center. Makita 18-volt X2 LXT for only $249. 0 emissions and reduced maintenance. No need for gas or oil. Same battery, 36-volt power. Also ask about your increased warranty on Makita concrete tools. Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. 2 locations. 1110 Stuckey Ave in Tallahassee. We're at 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Call them at 580-1200 in Tallahassee or 926-1144 in Crawfordville. Online at ctf.nu.
I have known for some time now that some insurance companies are not exactly being truthful with their customers, stating such things as if you do not use one of their approved body shops, they will not guarantee the repairs, or it may cost you more out of pocket. Here at Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, the work we do is guaranteed for as long as you own your vehicle. Lisa's Paint and Body Shop, 385-2665.
License number MP46050.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Perusing JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. And noting that, all right, plenty of stuff in here that I haven't touched on in a while, and there you go. One of them is, please, 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 you must talk about this. Okay. The beginning of the next hour, I will address a guy who looks suspiciously like the head coach at the University of Florida, fat, butt naked on the back of a boat humping a shark. Perhaps the oddest thing I've ever had to address via an email. It's beautiful.
And we've had some oddball emails.
Oh, we've had some classics, but that's a good one, and I will do so. I have wanted to. It's not lost on me. It's not lost on me. I do continue to sit around and just hope that the powers that be at that university actually have to hold some form of a press conference. If I were him, I don't think it would do that. But anyhow, I'm going to save it.
If he walks into a presser, if they had to do a formal one,
just think about that.
Everybody would be checking for sunburn. See sunburn?
It's just too good. If he has to actually have a press, I mean, it's the best. That's the best thing ever. There's never been a greater set of circumstances by which a head coach has to address an off-the-field issue of any kind, if that happens.
I wish that happened to Urban Meyer. Like he had a doppelganger humping a shark. It just feels like that Urban deserves to have to go through that press conference.
He deserves a lot of things. Jeff, email, I cut the cord. I have enjoyed listening to the talk about ESPN this past week and the future of sports viewing. I have been looking to cut cable. See what we did? For a couple of years. The only thing keeping me has been sports, or more specifically ESPN. I have played around with different streaming services, devices, trying to figure out which one works best for me. About a month ago, I decided I was ready to cut, but it wasn't until ESPN went ahead and made the cuts that I actually made my own. I made the calls, and I find the irony in that the thing that gave me the confirmation that my projections for the future are on track was that ESPN fear of more cord cutting. In some ways, ESPN made a self-proclaimed prophecy by laying off so many people. Besides ESPN's live sports coverage, I can't remember the last time I watched something other than that. I'm 46, so I grew up watching ESPN around the clock. Now I kind of hate what they've become and what they represent with all the chatter and catering to the lowest common denominator. I just like the phrase, all the chatter. It is really amazing that we will all do what we will all do for a paycheck. I'm sure some of these sellouts during the daytime have a hard time looking in the mirror on many a morning until they see that paycheck. I'm sure I am no different. If I was offered life-changing money, I might do the same. Not judging, just an observation. Keep up the great work. I enjoy the podcast greatly. It's a great escape for me. I hardly listen to an episode without laughing. which is priceless, especially after a hard day work in an extremely busy emergency room. Laughter is good for the soul. That is from Brian. Thank you, Brian. That's an awfully nice thing to say, and I'm glad you enjoy the show. To address some of these things, Brian, the reason I read your email was not only that you took the time to write a pretty lengthy one at 6:11 a.m., but also because yours was one of many that sound or are in this vein. I think that that's pretty fair in the way that you assess that situation.
I think one of the final hurdles for people in cord cutting is that the quality of the apps aren't as good yet in terms of being able to give you the HD feed at all times. You know, it drops down to a buffering level, semi-HD, but it looks kind of like when you don't have HD and you put on the widescreen channel, and then sometimes it outright buffers and pauses.
It's annoying as hell, and that's exactly why. Now, listen, we are sponsored in some capacity by Comcast, and we will tell you to get Comcast. Now, we have Comcast. Both Tom and myself have Comcast. And Comcast, admittedly, even if we were not endorsing Comcast, I would tell you that from the days of yesteryear to now, they have come an awful long way in their efforts to adapt to this changing climate and make it far more convenient for you, the consumer, than they used to. It used to be a pain in the ass. And that has come and gone. I love all the on-demand feature stuff and the Netflix being on there and all those things. But because it's basically our situation is that we're not necessarily paying for Comcast, admittedly.
Not the same rate, at least.
Well, no, and it makes it a lot easier for us to say that. I get it. The real reason that I haven't, besides that very big one, the other reason, I should say, not the real, the other reason that I haven't cord cut besides the whole sponsorship thing is that exactly what you just said. When I tune into ESPN3, if you will, to watch a Florida State baseball game, and I do that a lot, right? I then Chromecast it to my big screen all the time. Sometimes I watch it on my laptop, but a lot of times I want to Chromecast it on the big screen, and I'll put something else on, either a speaker, a Bluetooth speaker, music, or something like that, and I'll have that on in the background while I'm cleaning the house or something, if it's a road game.
That sounds pretty ideal, actually.
It is ideal. I have a good setup that way. I'll set up my Bluetooth, I'll throw on the music, I'll open up the house, I Chromecast the baseball game, and I get to cleaning. And or playing cards with the kids. Got to start them out early, gambling. And the point would be, I get pissed off doing that because it frequently falls behind. And I know that what I'm watching when it catches, kind of starts back up is now invariably, by the time we get to the fifth inning, probably a full inning and a half behind.
Sure.
And it never not does that. It's always, and I've got really good Wi-Fi.
And that's the thing, it's confusing because Baseball Advanced Media is an extension of Major League Baseball.
Right.
But they've also been contracted to work for the MLB and Golf
NHL,
Channel.
right?
And yes. I'm sorry if I said the MLB twice. But yes, the NHL contracted them and Golf Channel has used their technologies. But then ESPN purchased a portion of MLB Advanced Media, and I don't know where one line stops and another one begins. But it's my sincere hope that ESPN is working with MLB's Baseball Advanced Media to help with its own app. I mean, because the Watch ESPN/ESPN app and the feeds that they give you are garbage. And here's the problem. You're using Twitter or you just have your cell phone around. Let's say you got Twitter off and you turn notifications off.
Yeah.
Well, you get a text from somebody.
Yes.
And that means that something's coming because they're watching on regular television. For example, even Baseball Advanced Media, as good as
I stopped, by the way, just terrorizing you the way I used to.
Oh, God. Thankfully, we're not in the same studio, too.
I know. That helps.
When we had, just the walk around versus the actual separate room, I'd hear you. And I'm watching, Bases Loaded Jam. We got into 2 outs and 2 strikes.
And I'd be like, oh.
Yeah. Thanks for playing. That made me so angry.
I used to take pleasure in the frustration that I would see building. Like, I couldn't help it. It would come on. Oh, man, how about that? Okay, all right.
Well, I don't think they did that because we struck them out and got out of the inning. I think that's because the scoreboard changed. But, even as good as they are, I have it on the Xbox. And so I'll watch the MLB TV app on the Xbox, and it's a good 30 seconds to a minute behind real time. It's behind their app. That's what's annoying. Okay, so their own app is ahead of the feed on the Xbox.
That is correct.
So I'll have the update, or my girlfriend will tell me, she'll say, "Well, oh man, that's awesome!" Walking down the stairs, I go, "What?" and Conforto's at the plate.
Right.
And then Conforto goes yard. You rob me of the moment. So if you iron out those problems that the internet-based apps have, and you speak, because it's not about the internet quality, and this isn't even a Comcast endorsement part of it, but the internet I have is top-notch. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
So it's not from a lack of bandwidth. So the apps have to clean up the way they deliver. If they do, then people are going to cord cut in droves.
And most assuredly, they will do just that. I mean, technology doesn't slow down. It's going to advance. It's going to get better, and it's going to make it a lot easier. But until that time, it doesn't seem like something I want to do.
And it still does it.
It's very frustrating. Yeah, I've noted that too. About the best thing going in terms of why you would cut is, I've got one of the big iPad Pros at the house as well, and I can sit in my bedroom and watch a movie on that thing and then kind of pause that and flip over to another app and go to MLB and do that and then flip over to another. I mean, I do that all the time.
This is only a sports or a live news
That's right.
gripe. When it's on demand stuff, the Netflix, Amazon Primes, and Hulus of the world, or HBO Go, they give you all that stuff, and the HD connection holds if you have a hardline connection. But it's the live stuff that really needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah, they haven't gotten there yet. It will happen probably within, I guess, a year. Everything happens so quickly now. It is amazing. It was funny. I was laughing. Keith Jones was mentioning to Tom Block on a show recently on the Front Row a week or two ago. It was such an obstinate old man thing to say, but I related to it where he was like, no, I like it plugged into the back of my television. I want it plugged in. I'm not cutting the cord. That's how I want to watch my stuff. I'm
like the coax screwed in nice and tight.
I feel like, but there's a better way. Why? No, I want it. That's just ridiculous.
There's security in there.
Yeah. But also because it's appointment. Then at that point, you're saying you have to make time to sit in front of this thing.
Sure. Yeah, you can't just bring it with you willy-nilly wherever you want to go. Yeah. And one thing I think is probably coming for ESPN. There were whispers, and I think they've even put out a press release, but they're going to launch a YouTube channel. How about that? Very cutting edge. I wonder who else does the YouTube thing. But
ESPN Tallahassee, just type that in.
But for the inauguration or other the State of the Unions or big time appointment events that to be informed, you should be watching the YouTube feeds from CNN or ABC News, CBS News, or wherever. They all actually hold pretty well. So maybe that's the future, is that people are just going to run through a third-party carrier like a YouTube or like an Amazon Prime and just scrap their own web development and say, let's just give it to the experts who
Well, many people think that college football is headed towards Amazon Prime, towards Google.
Because they have the infrastructure to be able to deliver it in HD quality rather than every entity trying to make their own freaking app.
Yeah, I think that's happening really soon. And I do, well, now listen, I'm not like Keith in that sense. I don't need it to be, I don't have to, there's a part of me that doesn't mind being tethered to a device in some capacity because, you can easily stow away an iPad Air and be able to watch anything you want, anywhere you want. And I do like that freedom. I also know that you have to set limits. That's all. I think there's something about the idea of, it's just like cell phones. How, while we enjoy the convenience of being able to watch what we want to watch, when we want to watch it and all that, once you go to the model of not having cable and just everything is through an app or through some sort of watching device, or
it's anarchy.
You feel like you're always attached. The cell phone does that, right? There are times, I think we all admit, that you miss the days of once you were in your car, people couldn't get you. They couldn't get to you. That was just
you're out of the house.
That was your time. Mm-hmm. I'll see you when I see you.
Remember the debates, that you'd have for us, you walk out, set the alarm, do whatever, and then the phone rings, and then mom and dad would debate. Do we get it? Do we turn off the alarm and get the phone, or do we get in the car and go? And sometimes they'd choose one thing, and sometimes they'd choose the other, but it was a debate.
Well,
are we gone? Are we going to dinner?
We're already going.
Well, what if that's the Wilsons because they can't make it?
Wilsons.
We'll find out when we get there.
We're going to eat. Screw the Wilsons. Final hour, forthcoming. Stay with Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic, backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Reminds you that it'll be summertime before you know it, and summer's when we all benefit from positive environmental practices like saving energy, water, and money. Because after all, it's all connected. When your home is energy efficient, you save money on your utility bill, but you also help the environment because using less energy saves precious natural resources. Here are a few simple tips. Easy things you can do to use less energy. In the summertime, set your AC thermostat to 78 degrees and even a little higher when you're away from home. You'll be amazed at the money you'll save. Close shades, drapes, and blinds during the day. It keeps the house a lot cooler. Choose the proper AC fan setting. Put it on auto, not on. Auto saves energy, on runs continuously, and that runs into money. And while you're at it, schedule a free energy audit with the City of Tallahassee Utilities to identify low-cost and no-cost ways to make your home more energy efficient. You'll save energy, water, and money, and you'll help the environment too, because after all, it's all connected. A message from the #1 public utility in America. Learn more at talgov.com/YOU.
Mother's Day is this Sunday, and Pro Flowers is offering an amazing special. 100 stunning blooms for mom, plus a free glass vase for $19.99 plus shipping and handling. Go to proflowers.com, click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner, and enter the secret code 5858. But hurry, this incredible deal expires this Friday. With fresh flowers, guaranteed delivery, and unique vases and accessories that mom will love, Pro Flowers has everything you need to get your Mother's Day shopping done for all the moms you know. Order now from Pro Flowers to get huge savings. You pick the delivery date and it's guaranteed or your money back. 100 colorful blooms sent fresh from the fields and guaranteed to stay fresh and beautiful for at least 7 days, starting at $19.99. And we'll include a free glass vase. Hurry, Mother's Day is this Sunday, and this incredible special expires this Friday. The only way to get this amazing deal is to go to proflowers.com. Click on the blue microphone in the upper right corner and enter the secret code 5858. That's proflowers.com, secret code 5858.
Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan. Our lifetime warranty is a game changer for buying cars in Tallahassee and Thomasville. You already know it extends the factory powertrain for unlimited time and unlimited miles. But here are the facts. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty is backed by Great American Insurance Company, an A-rated company that was founded in 1872 with billions in assets. The same company that underwrites GM's GMPP and Ford's Gap Insurance. Kraft Nissan's lifetime warranty comes with every new Nissan we sell and most pre-owned vehicles that are 5 years old or newer with 50,000 miles or less. While Kraft Nissan's service department will certainly exceed your expectations and keep your records, you're not required to service with us. To maintain the warranty, you perform the manufacturer's recommended maintenance and keep your records. You can do that at any licensed repair shop in the U.S. or Canada. It's that easy. What's the catch? There are no catches, hidden fees, or gimmicks. Kraft Nissan provides the product as an added value to our customers for doing business with us. So when you're ready to buy from Kraft Nissan, the home of our original and the only real lifetime warranty at no charge. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco.
Hi, I'm Pastor Richard Ledford. I want to invite you to join us at Restoration Place, Tallahassee this Sunday morning at 9:30 a.m. or 11:30 a.m. We're located just north of Fred George on Monroe at 3881 Monroe Street. For more information, check us out at myrpt.org. That's Restoration Place, 9:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. See you there Sunday morning.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee. Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. It's time for some in-state baseball. Florida State and Jacksonville University for the Noles. It's their final non-conference game of the season, a 6 o'clock first pitch at Hauser Stadium. A judge has agreed to erase Aaron Hernandez's conviction in the 2013 murder case because he died before his appeal was heard. A legal doctrine that calls for vacating convictions when a defendant dies before the appeal was the binding precedent. Utah State wide receiver Rashad Lewis, son of 13-time Pro Bowler Ray Lewis, is transferring from Utah. He's now going to play in the Big Ten and will join the Maryland Terrapins. On the hardwood tonight, NBA Rockets and Spurs series tied at 2 games apiece. Last night, the Warriors made easy work of Utah. They swept that series 4 games to none. And for all you Dancing with the Stars fans, David Ross continues to shine, advancing to the next round after last night's show.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Good to be with you. Thanks for listening to the program. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free always. If you are to miss anything, remember this. We post all 3 hours, both on iTunes and in our own audio vault every day upon the conclusion of the show, and we do that with very limited commercial interruption. It's because we got a great podcast sponsor, the folks at SVN, Carlton Dean. CarltonDean.com. Learn more about making money in commercial real estate. Go to CarltonDean.com. Email the show if you like, JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at J Cameron Show. Speaking of Twitter, hey, so a little aside here at the intro of the 5. I did. Twitter can be funny sometimes, as we all know. And yes, guys, I have seen the McElwain humping the shark photo. I've seen it. I'm well aware. This has been sent to me 100 times. McElwain, butt naked, allegedly. McElwain, butt naked.
It is uncanny.
On top of a shark in the back of a boat. Now, saying that out loud is just funny. My favorite part of this story isn't that there's a guy, a fat-ass guy on the back of the boat, butt naked, laying on top of a shark, which just is kind of, okay, this is interesting. Or that he happens to look exactly like the head football coach at the University of Florida. I mean exactly like the head football coach at the University of Florida. That's not my favorite part, that Jim McElwain may or may not be humping a shark on the back of a boat and have been caught doing so. Actually, not caught, posing. That's all well and good. And I'm glad that went viral, as they say, and that it was a story on outlets across the country questioning whether or not Jim McElwain, the head coach at the University of Florida, is butt naked in the back of a boat, fat, laying on top of a shark.
Florida better hope that they're never featured on College Game Day this year.
Well, you have to win games to be
but
in a situation where that could be possible. But here's the best part, is that I'm going to assume that Jim McElwain is not on the back of a boat, drunk and fat, humping a shark and naked. I'm going to assume that that's not him, that the head football coach in Florida is not butt naked, fat, on the back of a boat humping a shark, okay? I'm going to assume that that's not what happened. Surely that can't be him, right? But the fact that it looks exactly like Jim McElwain on the back of a boat, butt naked, humping a shark, means that somebody in the athletic department had to go and ask Jim McElwain whether or not that's him on the back of a boat, butt naked, humping a shark. And the fact that a University of Florida employee in the athletic department had to ask the head coach whether or not he was, in fact, humping a shark on the back of a boat, butt naked, is all the joy I need in this world. That took place, that some staffer had to go, Coach, listen, there's this. Well, this is crazy, I know, and it's a most unfortunate set of circumstances. It's just bizarre. And surely, I mean, we know, I mean, you know, I don't even know how to say this. Maybe I should just show you Coach, are you aware of a photo? Have you seen the internet lately? Do you have a brother? I was looking at the bio earlier today, and I didn't see if you had a twin or a brother of any kind, really, just a brother, maybe not a twin, just looks remarkably a lot. Do you have a brother? How do those things get asked? And who is tasked with the responsibility of knocking on his door and probably armed with the picture, either on his phone or a printed out copy, so that he's got to, because if I just said to you, Tom, have you ever been butt naked on the back of a boat humping a shark? That would be the how would that even...
A shark? No.
See, for you, I'd say this isn't Tom. And the reason it's not Tom isn't because I don't think my dear friend Tom is the kind of guy that humps a shark. It's that he doesn't like boats. He's not a big fan of boats.
So you can rule that out.
I can rule it out.
There it is.
Whether or not he would or would not have some crazy fetish about humping a shark on the back of a boat is irrelevant. He wouldn't be on a boat. So
because his pasty ass hates the sun.
He doesn't like the boat. He's afraid it's going to sink, and he doesn't want to be in the water and all that stuff. So here's the other thing. The other reason I don't think it's McElwain is he's not that fat, is he? Because if that is him, that's another thing that's been revealed. He's a tub. He's a porker. In addition to those yellow teeth, he's got that fat to go with all of the unfortunate set of circumstances. Anyhow, here's what I'm thinking. And that's mean-spirited, I know. But I dismissed it until I really began to think about somebody having to ask the head coach at the University of Florida whether or not that's him naked on the back of a boat humping a shark. And I would like to know how that conversation went. I'd like to know how one broaches that. Imagine somebody having to go to Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, but Hare Island is that's better than a birthmark. You'd know if it was Jimbo.
Yeah, I mean, just how would you be able to say to Jimbo, hey, Coach, listen, it's Zach. I was wondering, well, there's this picture. This is...
I mean, Coach, the gold watches match up, and Hare Island looks awfully.
It's amazing.
The topography.
By the way, I don't think
similar.
Anybody's referencing Jimbo's hair as Hare Island to Jimbo. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't.
Well, it's a peninsula now, right?
Yeah.
Did he connect it back?
I don't know. Somebody had to.
The Jimberian Peninsula?
If you haven't seen the picture of Jim McElwain or Jim McElwain's lookalike, somebody who is a damn near spitting image, let's go with that, a spitting image of Jim McElwain, one descriptor that I haven't used is drunk, because I should, right? There's no sober butt-naked man laying on top of a shark in the back of a boat posing for a picture. Like you would have to, some sort of substance would have been involved for you to ever. Hey, you know, it'd be funny. I mean, like, there's no.
Outside of maybe Gary Busey, I don't know anybody on this planet.
It's funny you brought that up. I thought, but Gary Busey's been on a lot of substance.
That's true.
He's been in a lot of chemicals. He's had some issues.
Aftershocks,
Yeah,
so to
he's had
speak, of these chemicals.
If you haven't seen the photo, all right, there you go. There's your homework. Go to Twitter or just type into Google, Jim McElwain humps a shark on the back of a boat. That's now a thing. Like, if you type that up, it's going to populate. It's going to fill out the rest of your sentence. If you type his name, it's going to say
Jim McElwain, shark boat
boat
photo.
Denies.
Yeah, they had to issue an official denial.
That's the best part. Again, they had to issue
Coach,
a
I'm sorry. We
denial.
have to run with this. We have to release.
Coach, this guy looks exactly like you. I'm not saying it is you. Don't get angry with me. I'm not telling you I believe this is you. I don't. But the rest of the country does. So we have to address this. And you must admit, as you look at this photo, this looks 100% like you. So even though it's not you, you can understand, I know it's a sad set of circumstances, why it is that people think you're on the back of a boat, butt naked, humping a shark.
Coach, is that a shark tooth necklace?
Okay, Coach, listen, by the off chance, and I don't mean to offend you with this question, though surely you know it's coming, is that you humping the shark on the back of this boat? I didn't want to ask it. It seems crazy, but is that you? I mean, I've been to some crazy parties, too. I'm not here to judge, but we got to get out in front of this thing, and we better come up with something with the quickness. And is there anybody else? Who took the picture? Where is that individual? How close are you to the person that took this picture of you butt naked on the back of the boat humping the shark? I know you're saying it's not you, but if it were you, would there be other photos like this out there if it were you? Are these the kinds of friends you can trust if this were you? I mean, I want to know who's tasked. The athletic director isn't calling Jim McElwain going, hey, Jim. That has to be a low-level assistant.
Jim, check your email. I just sent you an email. There's something in there I'd like you to take a look at.
I'd like you to comment on this and tell me if you see anything odd besides a naked man, which may or may not be you, humping the shark on the back of a boat. I'm just saying.
You know, Coach, somebody photoshopped your head on this photo. But you know what the funny thing is? I lied. That's not a Photoshop at all.
No.
That's the man's head.
We've had it analyzed. Photo experts have come in here and told us this is not Photoshopped. Is that you?
Coach, the FBI's facial recognition software says it is you. Please tell me you have a doppelganger out there.
I know you've won the East twice, Coach. And you're fond of pointing that out. I don't think we can tell the world that you've won the East enough times to get over this one. We've got a problem here. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough. like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from LoCash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Other than a hard-working specialist at Ford Service, no one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Get a $140 rebate by mail on 4 select tires when you use the Ford Service credit card at the Big Tire event. Subject to credit approval, rebate by prepaid debit card. Other tire manufacturer rebate or offer cannot be combined with Ford Service credit card rebate or offer. See your participating Ford dealer for details through 6/30/17.
When you need spent a little too much time in the sun relief.
Yikes.
Ow, what the? Attack of the angry mosquito relief.
Hey, watch this.
Scraped knees.
And an elbow.
Relief. You need new Gold Bond Pain and Itch Relief Cream with lidocaine. Gold Bond has the maximum strength lidocaine available without a prescription and starts working on contact to numb away pain and itch. New Gold Bond with lidocaine. Relief starts now. Use as directed.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
It's the place you don't want to tell your mom you go to, but on May 14th, you're taking mom with you. It's Mother's Day at Hooters. She gets her choice of 5 items for free. Mom can choose from 10-piece traditional or boneless wings, Hooters burger, buffalo or grilled chicken salad, as well as buffalo or grilled chicken sandwiches. Remember, no great story ever started over breadsticks. Hooters makes you happy. 2000 North Monroe Street, online at Hooters.com, or call them at 385-2004.
Oscar Mayer is making big changes, and hot dogs will never be the same again. We went back to the drawing board and the cutting board until we had a line of the world's best hot dogs. We got rid of the artificial preservatives in all of our meat and waved goodbye to byproducts in every single hot dog for every single one of you. And right now, the Wienermobile is driving across America to put a hot dog in every hand. Oscar Mayer, for the love of hot dogs.
If you're a pro, you know this is not efficient because you know there's a better way. And pros also know that the better way to save money is to go to Lowe's. This Tuesday through Thursday, pros get 5% off all purchases in-store and online, or save 10% when you use your Lowe's Business Credit account. So hurry in and save big on the supplies pros use every day. Visit the Pro Desk or lowesforpros.com for details. Credit offer subject to credit approval, U.S. only.
The Furniture Bank of Tallahassee, a division of ECHO, is the only local program that collects and distributes gently used furniture free of charge to Leon County residents in need. Our free furniture bank donates to eligible clients such as families recovering from fire or disaster, formerly homeless clients moving into their own homes, and veterans in a rehousing program. In 2016, we helped 138 families, including 33 vets, rebuild their lives. For more information or to have your furniture picked up, call 224-ECHO. Call 224-ECHO.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. It was 18 years ago, which increasingly I find disturbing when I'm referencing stories about a time that I was on the air. And I'm able to say, this was 18 years ago. It's an oddity. And obviously, the longer we stay on the air, the more frequently I'll find myself in a position to say, I mean, the first time, I have to admit, when your birthday is approaching and you are in your 40s, your friends ask you about it, and people will say, like, if any of the birthdays bothered you. And I've never been bothered by a birthday. I think I've been, I don't know why, but of all the years of getting slightly older, I think I was disturbed at 38. 38 bothered me. I don't know why.
Because 40's looming?
Well, and 40 would have been looming at 37. But, I don't know, 38 maybe, penultimate year of the 30s. I don't know what that's about. But at 38, I remember thinking I just thinking about it. Like, I haven't thought about it. Turning 40 didn't bother me in the slightest. I've liked my 40s. I'm 45. I'll be turning 46 next month. Doesn't bother me at all. Turning 30 didn't bother me. You just turned 30. Did it bother you?
No, because I feel like I've been 30 for years.
Well, right. Yeah, you're an old soul. You and my buddy Matt Britton were 30 when I met you, and if I had met you at 10, I would have said that. But, I mean, but that's weird. I haven't been bothered by any of those. Maybe 50 will bother me, maybe. That seems like one that should. 50,
it does bother you. There's no,
50 has to. Well, no, but I just thought of it because we're having the conversation. I think 50 will have to bother me. But who knows? Maybe I'll think differently when I get there. But it seems like 50 should bother you. But anyhow, somebody's 49 driving down the road going, damn it, Cameron.
All right.
Yeah, thanks, you're right. Yeah, I've been pushing it back to the recesses. Yeah.
Just head on into incoming traffic.
Well, here's why I bring all that up. It's not about me. It's just that I was on the air. I had started my radio career at this juncture, and moreover, I can remember it like it was yesterday. Tom Block tweeted out, and Chip Baker retweeted, and I don't know who was first to do it. I just saw it this morning when I got up. And it's the 18-year anniversary, I guess, of Marshall McDougal hitting 6 home runs in one game. And so one thing about just getting older and being on the air for almost 20 years is that sometimes I just make reference to things as if everybody listening to the show has been listening to me for 20 years. It's ridiculous that I do that, but I do. And I realize all the time when I'm out in public and I meet somebody that's maybe just out of college or in college that's a listener of the show, the backstories and all of that is lost on them. They weren't even born in some cases, and in others they were 5 or something, so they have no recollection of this. But in 99, the baseball team was really, really good, as they were throughout the 90s, Florida State baseball, that is. And I like that team from 1999. It's John Ford Griffin's on that team. Marshall McDougal's on that team. Matty Diaz is on that team. Kevin Cash, the current manager of the Rays, kids, is on that team. And the oddity is that he played third base before ever being a catcher in the majors.
You said he had a cannon, too.
Unbelievable arm. And anybody on that team will attest to that. It was insane, that guy's arm. I remember Big John Halliday was on that team. Bartholomew. I mean, just those teams I've got a fondness for, a nostalgia that just makes me smile. They were all really good, and they were all teams that I would sit and talk in great detail about with the late, great Lee Bowen, whose call you're about to hear of these 6 home runs. Now, again, let me repeat all this and set this up for you. This was on a Sunday, I believe, and I was I can remember exactly where I was. I've told this story before on the anniversary of these things, like on the 15th anniversary and the 10th. But I had gone to Bradenton to visit my parents, my mom and my stepdad, and this is back on, and this is another reason I'm nostalgic about it. This is back when Florida State baseball, no matter where they were playing, there was a good chance you could find them on Sunshine Network. And those were better times. We could watch Florida State baseball would go on. This is a game against Maryland on the road, and they were on TV. And so, I mean, now that would never be the case, or very seldom be the case. And it's just, it's an aggravating situation. Nonetheless, I would go down there to visit and then hang out, and when the noon games on Sundays would end, if I were visiting, if I was going to St. Pete to see friends or Tampa to see friends or Bradenton, my parents had just moved to Bradenton after all. Everybody had fled and gone off to the colleges and graduated and all that. Then I would leave after that game and drive back to Tallahassee and get back in time for basically dinner. And that was my plan on that day. And we're playing Maryland, and whatever, Maryland sucks. And we so frequently, for a long time, owned Maryland in an unhealthy way. They must have been so happy to leave the ACC for a variety of reasons. But that game was on, and I don't start going to get my stepdad and start calling people I know until he hits his 4th home run. And when he hits his 4th home run, I mean, that's a day for the ages. It's seldom seen in any level of baseball.
Yeah, get on the landline phone,
Right.
hit the rotary dial, and
Yes.
find who you need to find.
That's right. And my stepdad, who's I've talked about on the air before, is a UF law degree, has a UF law degree as a Bull Gator. He couldn't care less about Florida State baseball, but he loves sports and he loves accomplishment within sport. And it's not lost on him when a kid's having a day for the ages. So after the 4th home run, I go in there and I go, "Hey, Bob, kid from Florida State, Marshall McDougal, good player, just hit his 4th home run today against Maryland." And he goes, he said something like, "Well, have yourself a day. What's the score?" or something, and I told him. So when he comes up again, I remember saying, well, come on in. He's about to hit again. Let's, and you're thinking, because you've seen, these great days at the ballpark or on a football field where a guy's returned 2 kicks for a touchdown or something. It sets up for where you want to sit back. Okay, well, are we watching something truly special here? No hitters are this way. By the time,
no-hitters.
at the 6th inning, 7th inning, you go, okay.
Well, and how often is it that a guy might hit 2 home runs in his first 2 at-bats, and then he murders the 3rd ball, but it's right at somebody, or it's a line drive.
Sure,
but you're saying, man, he is locked in today.
Yeah.
And even in that circumstance, you're saying, well, what a special day this is to watch.
Yeah.
Not 6 home run special,
No,
but
and
yeah.
I can remember Bob Horner hitting 4 home runs for the Braves back in the day when they were terrible, and, hard-hitting Mark Whitten. People can still remember that day. There have been those. Didn't Mike Cameron hit 4 home runs?
Yes,
I think
he
did.
He
Yeah.
did.
So there have been these moments where you're kind of drawn to it and you're blown away. Because that Major League Baseball, it's impossible to think that somebody could hit 4 home runs. But it's been done quite a bit. And, quite a bit in the modern era anyhow, it seems. So when he hit his 5th, you do begin to ask questions like, has that ever been done before? Since they've been keeping records, has anybody, because it does, when you say that out loud, this guy's got 5 home runs today. You start to think, well, maybe that's just never been done. That sounds like a thing that maybe has never been done. I certainly never thought he'd hit a 6th. Moreover, the reason that you don't think he's going to hit a 6th, and for those that remember this game, is that a lot had to happen for him to get to the plate one final time. I mean, a lot of guys had to be able to pass the baton, had to get on base, had to keep the inning alive, had to give. I mean, like, you're thinking as you calculate, will he get another at bat? And you're looking in the 8th, you're going, there's no way he can get up again. So a lot of, Maryland has to suck. Florida State has to be great, and baseball can't be baseball. Like, every ball that's hit hard can't be. It has to get down. And so all these things are building, and it is a record, and nobody's ever, as far as they can tell, has ever hit 6 home runs, really at any level of baseball that is considered, to be, I guess in this case it's a collegiate sport, and then you have minor league baseball, and you have professional baseball, but pro or college, prior to this, they have no record of anybody hitting 6 home runs. And I can still remember the FS View coming out, and it's a picture of him. And my girlfriend at the time was teaching at FSU. She was getting her PhD, and she got it signed because she ran into him coming out, and he's on the cover of the FS View, and I'm sure she still has it. But it was something to behold, and Lee Bowen is on the call. So I remember this just like Chick Baker today does, and Tom Block, I'm sure, does, and all these guys that were really paying attention to Florida State or were in school or had just gotten out of school within the last 5 to 10 years and loved Florida State baseball and paid attention to this sort of stuff. This is a special day, a day for the ages, and the anniversary is today of 6 home runs in one game. Here are all 6 as called by Lee Bowen.
The 2-1 pitch is high in the air to deep left field, and Marshall's already in his home run trot. Left center field, that sucker is gone. Florida State takes the lead back 3-2. 0-1 pitch. There's a high fly ball to center field. Back goes Long and Swope at the track, and that ball is gone. 2-run homer by Marshall McDougal, is second of the day. Marshall is 3 for 3. 2-2 pitch with a runner going. High fly ball to deep left field. Back goes Eric Beer. That is the 3rd home run of the day for Marshall McDougal. 20 home runs on the year now for McDougal. Here's the stretch in the 3-1 pitch, and there's a high fly ball to deep center field. Back goes Larry Long. He looks up. It's gone. Home run number 4, Marshall McDougal. The 1-2 pitch, and there's a high fly ball to deep center field. They're going to turn and watch it. 5 home runs. for Marshall McDougal, a grand slam. 13 runs batted in. The records fall at Shipley Field today. A grand slam by Marshall McDougal. And the pitch to Marshall, and he hits a high fly ball, deep right field. Back goes Larry Long to the track. Oh my goodness, it's gone! 6 home runs by Marshall McDougal. A new NCAA record. RBIs 14, 15, and 16. A new NCAA record. And
So it's crazy. It's great to hear my old friend and one of my first, my first boss in Tallahassee in radio, Lee Bowen. Makes me smile. But Marshall McDougal hit 6 home runs, but he went 7 for 7. That's the other thing, is he did have a hit in this game that was not a home run. And if I recall that correctly, it's his first AB that's not a home run, and then he hits 6 straight. I don't think for as long as I live that's ever going to be broken. I mean, most records are made to be broken. I don't think it's ever going to be broken. As far as they can tell, I remember there was an exhaustive search after this. This made ESPN. This was national. This went national. He was on Jim Rome's show, and it was an awkward, terrible interview. He had never heard Rome's show. He didn't get his shtick. He was kind of shy. Rome sounded like an idiot. Everything about it was bad.
Talk about those at-bats.
It was bad because one of Rome's things was that he hated college baseball, and he would go all in on hating college baseball, and then he had to have this conversation, and it just was awkward. But that's an aside. That's just me remembering the post game scenarios and all the stuff that occurred the following week. Because at this point, when it goes to SportsCenter at a time where you got your highlights solely from SportsCenter,
the golden age we've been referencing, yes.
Yeah, people it starts to, that information begins to get out there, and those highlights begin to get out there, and soon he's being asked to be on shows across the country to go through it, one by one, talk about what your thoughts were. I mean, it's not just 6 home runs, it's 7 for 7, it's 16 RBIs. It's the fact that, as Chip Baker tells the story, he was so busy playing like PlayStation or some video game all night that he couldn't get him to go to bed on time during curfew, and he wouldn't get out of bed in time for batting practice that day. He took 5 cuts and said, "I'm good," and Chip is kind of pissed at him for not preparing properly. No doubt that probably had something to do with the fact that they didn't respect Maryland. All of that, which leads to this. But it's been 18 years, and it's a day and a box score for the ages, 6 home runs, and you can't imagine. I mean, I don't care if you're listening to me and you're 17 years old or you're 57 years old. You just can't think of a time where anybody's going to come close to that. I can't recall anybody hitting 5 home runs in anything I've ever read or heard about.
Well, it's crazy every time I hear that clip, and it's the same video that I listen to, and it's usually every other year or so that we end up playing the full audio.
Mm-hmm.
It's how much Lee sounded like Bob Uecker. They sound very similar. I mean, you talk about a pro's delivery of a baseball game.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Harry Doyle in Major League, especially when he gets really excited and his voice peaks.
Well, and what's funny, I can tell you, I had the good fortune, and I've mentioned this on numerous occasions, but I had the good fortune of providing color more than one time with Lee Bowen back in the day, and doing in doing baseball games with him, and being on the road at Florida and doing a game there with him, doing a series there with him. And it was fun. I was learning all the time back then. I had, I was green. I didn't really know what I was doing. But one thing about Lee was, he's the announcer that on the one hand, you make fun of announcers for being, hey, everybody, welcome to the ballpark. That's him. But that is how he grew up listening to Pittsburgh Pirate games. And, we had this Pirates love in common. He was from Pennsylvania. And we would talk about broadcasters of yesteryear, and he would get into his favorite broadcasters and his favorite broadcasting moments. When Lee was young, he had been very, very sick as a kid. And he had spent a lot of time in bed listening to Pirates games. Just wasn't a healthy kid. And he said that was his solace. And he had always wanted to play baseball, but he wasn't a great baseball player. Lee wasn't a good athlete. Lee was a quirky guy, and I say this endearingly, but he was a quirky, and there are people listening now who worked with Lee and certainly knew Lee the way that I knew Lee. And he was a goofy guy, but a sweetheart of a man. And he took great pride in the enunciation and making sure he was very clear at all times as to where the ball was, what the count was, what the situation. He was very thorough. And I asked him one time about his broadcasting style, and like you're talking about that Harry Doyle sort of funny. He had gone and actually took voice lessons, not to sing, but to learn how to breathe properly while pronouncing anything and stating anything or reading anything. And he wanted to make sure that he did that. And you want to learn about professionalism, of which he had much more than myself and really anybody I've ever been around in terms of being a broadcaster and caring deeply about the minutia. When they would go to Hawaii, Florida State for a long time would go out and play Hawaii in Hawaii. Great trip to make, huh? But he's in the booth by himself out in Hawaii. And the time difference, ain't nobody listening back in Tallahassee. And if they were, it's late night, right? And I would be listening. When they would come to give the post-game wrap-up and Lee would go through the box score, I mean, he's dotting the I's and crossing the T's on the details of a 15-4 game that's ending at 1 o'clock in the morning back in Tallahassee. And, there he is. On the day, Brett Groves goes 1 for 3, 1 RBI with a walk. And he's doing all of that. And you could tell it meant a lot that this be buttoned up and be done properly. And it's cool. It's cool. It's a fun way to learn how to do a radio broadcast and how to be in radio and play off of people. And everybody's got a different style. My style certainly was never his style, and his style, I didn't adapt to what he did, but he was a play-by-play guy. And he actually, frankly, used to say, because I would marvel at his ability as a play-by-play announcer, and he'd say, well, that's great because I can't do what you do, and I'm glad you admire me for something. I said, well, you gave me my first job, so I really admire you, Lee. And he would laugh, and we would talk about these things. But you're exactly right. His style, his approach. So it's almost perfect that he calls those 6 home runs, right? Because I think you and I would be like hugging in the booth, leaping up and down like idiots, and most people would.
Holy, he just hit his 6th.
I can't believe what the hell I'm seeing, Tom. We would be blown, but you could see he's trying to be somewhat measured. Listen to it. When you go back and listen to it again, he doesn't really get excited until that 4th one.
Yes.
That 4th one, he's kind of like, what are we looking at here?
It's like he doesn't want the listener to have a false sense of hope when the 5th one's on the way and the 6th one's on the way. He's waiting until he knows for certain.
Yeah, the 6th one is hilarious. He goes, oh my goodness. He can't. That's the most excited you'll ever hear him get.
Yeah, if that was you and me, Booth, the 2-1 swung on.
It sounds like the mic just being brought like, wah!
You believe that, please?
That's all. I'm taking off my shirt. Like we would just for no reason. This is just ridiculous. We'll come back, wrap it up momentarily. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from LoCash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
You know, we never talked about this, but he's not here now, so I'll bring it up to you. Is Tom kind of violating the man rule with all that sangria?
You know, if we were in Spain, it'd be a whole different situation.
All right, guys, how's it going? You ready to record?
Sure. Yeah,
sure.
No, well, I'm good. Did you just turn those on?
Yeah, why?
No reason. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Every mom has a signature smile, look, walk, and a unique way of making life more beautiful. But it's her signature way of caring that makes her truly one of a kind. Mother's Day is this Sunday. Show mom how much you care with a card that's beautiful and inspiring, just like her. When you have something to say it with Hallmark Signature. Available in the card department wherever Hallmark cards are sold.
Ain't nobody got 'em all like mine.
It's the thrill of the grill event, now at the Home Depot, where the Kingsford Lone Star Charcoal Grill is a special buy at just $99. You'll save $50. Its durable cast iron grates and extra large surface can handle up to 24 burgers at a time, making you the undisputed grillmeister on the block. Get a fresh take on spring with the Kingsford Lone Star Charcoal Grill. Just $99 only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through May 31st while supplies last. Selection varies by store.
Okay, so you're telling me that Beef O'Brady's has buy one, get one free deals? Free fish and chips!
Free boneless wing baskets!
Free chicken nachos! That's what I call an order. Buy one, get one free every Thursday in May at Beef's.
This Day in Sports brought to you by Superlube. Superlube, 19 Tallahassee area locations. Quick, convenient, no appointment necessary.
This day in sports history.
May 9th, 1984. The Chicago White Sox and the Milwaukee Brewers played in the longest game in Major League Baseball history. The game lasted 8 hours and 6 minutes before the Sox finally won 7-6 in the 25th inning. Although this game would set the record for the longest game in terms of time, it would fall just 1 inning short of that record.
We lead busy lives. That's why Superlube offers quick and convenient service with no appointment necessary at any of our 19 area locations. And remember, Superlube offers a free top-off service between oil changes, checking and topping off fluids, and tire pressure. But did you know that right now when you buy one wiper blade, you get one free, just in time for Tallahassee's rainy season? Superlube it every 3 months or 3,000 miles.
How I love to Superlube my car. Yes, sir.
Tallahassee Sports Center.
I'm Lee Gordon. It's time for some in-state baseball. Florida State and Jacksonville University for the Noles. It's their final non-conference game of the season, a 6 o'clock first pitch at Hauser Stadium. A judge has agreed to erase Aaron Hernandez's conviction in the 2013 murder case because he died before his appeal was heard. A legal doctrine that calls for vacating convictions when the defendant dies before the appeal was the binding precedent. Utah State wide receiver Rashad Lewis, son of 13-time Pro Bowler Ray Lewis, is transferring from Utah. He's now going to play in the Big Ten and will join the Maryland Terrapins. On the hardwood tonight, NBA Rockets and Spurs series tied at 2 games apiece. Last night, the Warriors made easy work of Utah. They swept that series 4-0. And for all you Dancing with the Stars fans, David Ross continues to shine, advancing to the next round after last night's show.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Lawn Maintenance Tuesday, presented by Miller's Tree Service. Call Miller's today at 894-TREE. That's 894-8733.
What'd you do for Mother's Day, buddy?
Actually, I gave my mom her gift over the weekend.
Ah, there you go. Got it behind you.
Well, I mean, yes, but it's a good gift.
I wasn't questioning the quality of the gift. Just that you're no longer feeling the weight of having to kind of scramble.
No, yeah, I got.
I've seen you scramble in years past.
Sure.
You always come through, but you're a scrambler.
With the berry people, you know.
Oh, Sherry's Berries.
Yeah, 1 year, and unbelievable how those things just completely jip you. It's unbelievable. But I'm talking about with the delivery things. They're like, all right, standard delivery is free, but then you want to have any date that's actually around Mother's Day.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, $35.
See, I didn't know that. They just sent mine because I had to read the copy that year. And I also just love the moment that Bill Burr has to read the copy, which is you guys can find on YouTube. It's go do yourself a favor. Go type in Bill Burr Sherry's Berries. But the point is, when I had to read the copy, they sent the berries very early, Tom. The berries were there very early.
They sent it for free and all that kind of stuff.
Well, because they wanted me to endorse it. But I didn't know if you ordered from there.
No, it's the same thing with the flower companies. If you want anything other than a cardboard box with the flowers or the berries to come in, it's like, all right, that'll be $15 for a normal
so they get
box
you
or
on
a
the
normal
vase.
Yeah.
That's what they get you on. Okay.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, you know
and
what?
if you want expedited delivery because you're
scrambling,
you failed. Then it's like $50. I mean, it goes from the
you didn't
1995.
Fail, you just were last second.
Right. Oh, I got it done. It just cost me a pretty penny.
Yeah.
In this case, though, because the family had gathered in Atlanta this past weekend, I made sure to have the card and the gift. And
you
all
were
that kind of
loaded
stuff.
for bear.
Yes, they love to go out to dinner, so I got them a nice little night out at their favorite restaurant.
You know what I do? Would I be wrong to guess that your parents' favorite food is Italian?
You would not be wrong.
That's just a good guess on my part.
Yes, they love Italian food.
I just sense that. But I would tell you that what I do to avoid the whole thing with the national companies, I just call some local florist or something that's right around the corner, some dude who needs the help. You know what I mean? Or somebody. Do flower places. I'm not trying to besmirch any flower place in town or anything like that.
Or even the national chains.
Or even the national. No, I'm not trying to. No, but they usually.
That's why you got to use the code CAM.
But no, I'm saying I wonder if that business is in real trouble now. I would think that it is. Like almost anything else, that if you could just order online, I
don't know. Maybe those companies put an order in through a local florist, and they're the ones who carry out the web order.
I would think then that you have to work diligently to procure the arrangement so that you're the place that's shipping off the...
A couple of years, I did really cool things for my mom. 1 year, her favorite candy is a Mounds bar.
I love.
Okay. So
Mounds don't have nuts, and I like the Mounds more than I do the Almond Joys, so good call, Mama.
Yeah, she loves the Mounds.
Yeah.
So then I got her like a giant Hershey bar and a giant Mounds bar, but I had them delivered to the front door that morning, and then bing bong, and then the person kind of ditched and ran away. And I called her. I said, did the doorbell just ring? She said, yes. I said, Happy Mother's Day. And there was a card there and everything.
So the person was like just a friend of the
Just
friend.
a friend who was home, happened to be home for the
Keith,
weekend.
swing by and get you a big old almond.
Oh, no, but I had planned
Mounds,
it out. I planned out the time because I knew what time she'd be there. Yeah. Then there are other years, yes, where I scrambled. I go to the berry people.
Well, those things are delicious now.
They are. Yeah, the chocolate-covered strawberries, and they're freaking huge. They're like baseballs.
They're on steroids.
Oh,
absolutely. I've never seen. There's no way that's just grown naturally in the wild. I've never seen strawberries anywhere. Like if you go to Publix, where I live, I mean, I've never seen strawberries even close to that size.
Sure.
What are they doing with the strawberries?
No, that's where
it's
when
crazy.
you go to the Walmart and you see the strawberries, like, yeah, and these are only 79 cents, huh? The hell did you pump these things
what
with?
What did you do with these strawberries?
It's like, did you take what the chemtrail is throwing down on our planet and dump it on the strawberries?
These are the berry bonds of strawberries. This is nuts.
The berry bonds? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
All right, here we go. Probables, fire away.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Doubleheader between the Cubs and the Rockies. Night game is going to be John Lackey, Kyle Freeland. We got Rangers, Padres, A.J. Griffin, Jared Weaver. Mariners, Phillies, Ariel Miranda, and Jared Eichhoff. Got any advice for me as to what to do with the rest of the season for the Pirates?
What to do?
Yeah, I'm screwed. Now our top pitcher has cancer.
Yeah.
I'm ready for maybe another announcement today that Kutch is retired. Cervelli's out for the year.
If anybody knows something about waves of announcements, it's me, buddy. I just brace yourself and focus on the product on the field for as long as you can.
Oh.
You got the players this weekend, so you can watch the players.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
There you go. That's what I'm here for.
I'm in need of escapism big time. It's brutal. Like I'm looking out there going, who the hell is this guy? I mean, literally, because Freeze is hurt, and then all these other guys are hurt and or facing life-threatening ailments.
Yeah, it's one thing to call up a kid who may or may not be ready and see what he's about. It's another to just plug in a guy. And
We
then
literally
say,
had
"All
to
right."
call up a guy in single A. It's like, oh, okay. Anyhow, that's not good. Nationals, Orioles, Max Scherzer, Ubaldo Jimenez. And I don't mean to make it sound like I'm inconvenienced by Jameson Taillon's cancer. Obviously, I'm not a heathen. I want the kid to be okay and have a great life. I'm just saying it feels a bit like piling on for the baseball gods right now, purely from a viewing and fandom standpoint. You know, it's just kind of, okay.
On the surface,
Yeah,
right?
first gong, you can't get back into the country. And then, obviously, from there, Marte gets suspended for 80 games.
That's his own fault.
Well, it is. I'm just saying, as a fan, surface level viewing is all we're talking about. When you have your 3 best players or 4 told have a good day and we're not even 50 games into a season, it's just a bit rough. It's hard to keep a positive outlook when you turn on your baseball team. And I tend to watch even if they're going to be a 100-loss team is the problem.
Here you go. Tonight, Senators, Rangers, hockey. I know this is
I'll
probables.
do it.
But then tomorrow, you got a doubleheader of Game 7s. You got the Pens and the Caps.
I
and
watched the Pens and the Caps last night.
Oh, Pens played like ass.
Yeah, lost
And then
5-2.
The second one is Ducks Oilers. There you go. So
All
you got a doubleheader of G7s tomorrow.
I'm going to do it, man. Either that or I'll catch up on some Netflix. There's like 47 series out now that people are saying are good, and
And House of Cards is coming out in a couple of weeks.
Did I say Scherzer, Jimenez? I think I did.
I think you did.
Indians, Blue Jays, Carlos Carrasco, Mike Ballsinger.
Oh, man, it's been a while since we've heard the Ballsinger.
What's up, Ballsinger? First appearance for the Blue Jays since arriving in the 2016 trade, Tom. That's why it's been a while. Royals, Rays, Chris Young. Your man, Chris Young.
Oh, between him and Jared Weaver, you can still exist throwing 85, apparently.
Or 40. Matt Andrizi goes for the Rays. We got Yanks, Red, CC Sabathia.
I'm happy Ballsinger's doing all right.
Me too. Tim Edelman is going to pitch for the Reds. Giants, Mets. Hey! Wheeler will be fresh after throwing just 68 pitches last time out in a postponed game. He'll be feeling good.
Yeah,
right?
I caught the end of that.
Jeff Samardzija goes for the Giants. Wheeler goes for the Mets. We got Cardinals, Marlins, Adam Wainwright, Dan Straley, Red Sox, Brewers, Drew Pomeranz, Wiley Peralta. Fat Bartolo Colon going tonight for the Braves. It's the Astros, Charlie Morton. Morton, who broke into the big leagues with Atlanta in 2008, threw his second quality start in 6 outings Wednesday. He allowed 1 run in 6 innings. And I think, why? He was a bum for Pittsburgh forever, and now he's out here just dealing. Morton. Twins, White Sox, Hector Santiago, Mike Pelfrey. We got Tigers, D-backs, Justin Verlander, Robbie Ray, baby.
All right.
Robbie Ray.
It's a Robbie Ray day.
This is a good probables. We got Ballsinger and Robbie Ray. Angels, Athletics, Alex Meyer. Jarrell Cotton goes for the A's, and the Pirates, late night, will throw Ivan Nova. That's a good thing. Julio Urias goes for the Dodgers. We got beat 12-1 last night.
Boy, you're just taking haymakers.
That is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
Well, it's all right if you got someone to love. Yeah, it's all right.
You know, many years later, I was at a baseball game, a Major League Baseball game, and I ran in to Marshall McDougal before the game. Marshall McDougal was with the Rangers, and the oddity of Marshall McDougal is he basically had a cup of coffee in the majors. But anyhow, super nice guy, at least when I talked to him. And, you know, he's never made a big deal in the 2 to 3 times that I've ever talked to him about the fact that he hit 6 home runs in a game. And if I hit 6 home runs in a game, I'd have a shirt that not only immortalized the situation, but it would come in many colors because it would be one for every day of the week that I wore my 6 home runs in one game jersey. My wallpaper at the house would feature all 6 of my home runs. You might see it as you approach the front door on a loop projecting off of my front door.
I believe Jermaine Gresham did that when he did the full front flip for the touchdown.
Did he?
Yeah, in his home he had that video on loop. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want a video in the house. That would get annoying. But the wallpaper for sure. All 6 of my home runs. That, you have funny. Some people have the bathroom be a funny kind of thing. Like my bathroom, one of my bathrooms, my wife did is it's regaled in Pirates stuff. So it's got their World Series and it's got bobblehead Pirates and some of them for really sorry ass Pirates, which makes it even funnier. Like Paul Maholm.
Sure,
like losers, yeah. But yeah, I mean, relatively.
Right.
And it's got the years of the pennants and everything else. So you go in by one bathroom, it's just all Pirates all the time. That bathroom would be me with my home runs wallpaper.
The bathroom, when I was living with my old roommates, they had an awesome thing. It was 6 sci-fi pictures, but what they were old classic photos like of Lincoln or the Emperor in World War II, Hirohito, I think it was, for Japan. But it would be a sci-fi character's head on their body.
Oh, that's just weird.
So it's like Uhura from
So just
freaking
odd.
Star Trek. Yeah. Oh, it's just weird. But a great conversational piece after you leave the bathroom. You say, well, that was interesting.
Or if you were hosting a party and people were having
Is that
a lot
Greedo
of fun.
on Andrew Jackson's shoulders?
Right. Imagine you're at a party and people are having a certain kind of fun. Go into that bathroom. What in the world? Am I seeing this right? This can't. What did they give me? This is what was in those cookies. This is crazy person
Who
stuff.
told you could eat my cookies? Tomorrow, since it's an afternoon game, you won't be able to read it. But Tommy Maloney is starting for the Mets
My
tomorrow.
man. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll read it anyhow. Maybe we'll get that early in the show. We'll just make sure we're able to. What time is that game?
That's a 1:00 game. Getaway day for the Jazz.
Damn it, man. Good work out of you. Good work, Matthew. To those that called and or listened, surely do appreciate it, you guys. Have a good night. Be well. Talk to you tomorrow.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.